His specialization is English. And next, Dr. Lipi Pushpa Nayak, the guest of honor. Please come on to the dais, Dr. Lipi. Lipi is very humble. She retired as principal of Kunj Bihari Degree College recently, and she is faculty of English. And she translated almost all the Odia works of Hrushikesh Panda into English. Next, I invite Pragna Bharati, but for which we couldn't have organized this meet in such a systematic manner, and invite the Pragna Bharati's president, V. Srinivas, onto the dais. Now, here is my brother and also co-organizer B.S. Sharma. Now, there would be lighting of the lamp. So, please go to the Bharat Mata picture there and light the lamp.
శుభం కురుత్వం కళ్యాణం ఆరోగ్యం ధన సంపదః శుభం కురుత్వం కళ్యాణం ఆరోగ్యం ధన సంపదః శత్రుబుద్ధి వినాశాయ దీపజ్యోతి నమోస్తుతే దీపజ్యోతి నమోస్తుతే శుభం కురుత్వం కళ్యాణం ఆరోగ్యం ధన సంపద దీపజ్యోతి పరబ్రహ్మ దీపజ్యోతి జనార్దనః దీపో హరతు మే పాపం జ్ఞానదీపం నమోస్తుతే దీపో హరతు మే పాపం జ్ఞానదీపం నమోస్తుతే శుభం కురుత్వం కళ్యాణం ఆరోగ్యం ధన సంపదః. వందే మాతరం వందే మాతరం.
So, dear friends, all of you have idea of this meeting. The main idea of the meeting is that to focus the life and work of Dr. Hrushikesh Pandaji. He has an immense passion for our culture, Indian culture as well as Kalinga culture. He has done a lot of research in that. And as part of this, we will also be having a poetry reading session. Poetry reading session is the preamble of the main event. And once this poetry reading session is over, we will be having a session exclusively on the life and work of Dr. Hrushikesh ji. And after that, there will be the launch of 2 books translated into Telugu by my sister Swati Sripada. Right? So that is in brief. And now, let us start the program with the singing of Vande Mataram, our national anthem. Let us all stand up.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Suphalam, Malayaj Sitalam, Sasyamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram, शुभ्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनी फुल्लकुसुमिता द्रुमदलशोभिनी सुहासिनी सुमधुरभाषिणी सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरं कोटि कोटि कंठा कलकल निनाद कराली कोटि कोटि भुजै धृत कर करवाले अबला की नुमायित बलि बाहुबलधारिणी नमामि तारिणी रिपुदलवारिणी मातरं वन्दे मातरं तुमि विद्या तुमि धर्म तुमि हृदि तुमि मम त्वं हि प्राणाः शरीरे बहुते तुमि मा शक्ति हृदये तुमि मा भक्ति तोमार प्रतिमा गढ़ि मंदिरे मंदिरे वन्दे मातरं त्वं हि दुर्गा दश प्रहरण धारिणी कमलां कमलदल विहारिणी वाणी विद्या दायिनी नमामि त्वां नमामि कमलां अमलां अतुलां सुजलां सुफलां मातरं वन्दे मातरं श्यामलां सरलां सुष्मितां भूषितां धरणीं धरणीं मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरं भारत माता की धन्यवाद.
And we are so grateful and we are privileged also to have Dr. Murthy Garu here, the principal of the Badruka institutions. And really, I am going back to my college days where we used to give the due respect to our teachers. And the teachers can be found even among the tiny thoughts, even in the nature also. Thank you, sir. Please come.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం అండి. మన భద్రకా కాలేజీలో బంకట్లాల్ భద్రకా కాలేజ్ ఫర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ టెక్నాలజీ భద్రకా కాలేజ్ 1950లో ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ అయింది. మీకు అందరికీ తెలిసిన విషయమే. 1950లో భద్రకా కాలేజ్ ఫర్ కామర్స్ అండ్ ఆర్ట్స్ అని ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేశారు. రాజా బంకట్లాల్ భద్రకా he took an initiative to start the first commerce college in the then Hyderabad, Telangana, like that, Andhra Pradesh. 1991, management has taken a decision to introduce information technology also as part of the Bhadraka group of institutions. In between, Bhadraka Postgraduate Center was established. Bhadraka Junior College for Girls exclusively, that was established. So, ఇప్పుడు ఈ క్యాంపస్లో టోటల్గా 4 కాలేజెస్ సక్సెస్ఫుల్లీ రన్నింగ్. ఒకటి కామర్స్ కాలేజ్, 2 ఐటీ కాలేజ్, ఎంబీఏ కాలేజ్, భద్రకా జూనియర్ కాలేజ్ ఫర్ గర్ల్స్. బీబీసీఐటీలో మేము బీఎస్సీ కోర్సెస్ రన్ చేస్తున్నాం. మ్యాథమెటిక్స్, స్టాటిస్టిక్స్, కంప్యూటర్ సైన్స్, మ్యాథమెటిక్స్, డేటా సైన్స్, కంప్యూటర్ సైన్స్, మ్యాథమెటిక్స్, ఎలక్ట్రానిక్స్, కంప్యూటర్ సైన్స్, ఎంఎస్సీ డేటా సైన్స్, ఎంఎస్సీ స్టాటిస్టిక్స్, ఎంఎస్సీ కంప్యూటర్ సైన్స్. ఇది ప్రమోషన్ కోసం చెప్పడం లేదు. మాకు మెయిన్ బ్యాక్ బోన్ ఎవరంటే డాక్టర్ టి హనుమాన్ చౌదరి గారు. ఆయన 2000 సంవత్సరం నుంచి బీబీసీఐటి గవర్నింగ్ బాడీకి ఆయనే చైర్పర్సన్. హీఈస్ ఏ వెల్ విషర్ ఫర్ లేట్ శ్రీ హరిప్రసాద్ భద్రికా ఆల్సో. సో 2000 నుంచి కంటిన్యూస్గా, దిస్ ఇస్ 26th year, continuously he has been guiding for the growth of Bankatlal Bhadrika College for Information Technology. సో పెద్దలందరికీ నమస్కారం ఇంకొకసారి మళ్ళాను. కాబట్టి ఆయన మాకు ఒకసారి ఫోన్ చేసి, సెక్రటరీ సార్కి ఫోన్ చేసి, శ్రీకృష్ణ భద్రికాజీ నాకు ఒక సెమినార్ హాల్ కావాలి, ఆడిటోరియం కావాలి, అది ఆపోజిట్ బ్లాక్లో ఇంకొక సెమినార్ హాల్ ఉంది, మాకు ఏదైనా ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఉంది అన్నప్పుడు మేము వీ షుడ్ నాట్ సే నో ఫర్ హిమ్. ఎందుకంటే ఆయన క్రియేట్ చేసిన వాల్యూస్, ఎథిక్స్ అలాంటివన్నీ కూడా. కాబట్టి ప్రజ్ఞాభారతి నుంచి కానీ, సార్ ఇచ్చిన లెక్చర్స్ కానీ, ఎలాంటి దానికైనా కూడా వీఆర్ హ్యాపీ టు ఇన్వైట్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ టు బీబీసీఐఐటి ఫర్ దిస్ ఎయిర్ కండిషన్డ్ సెమినార్ హాల్. రఘు గారు మనకు చాలా క్లోజ్ ఫ్రెండ్, నిన్న కూడా ఆయన వచ్చారు, శర్మ గారు కూడా వస్తూ ఉంటారు. మీ అందరూ నాకు తెలియదు, అలాగే నేను కూడా మీకు తెలియదు, కాబట్టి ఒకసారి మాట్లాడదామని వచ్చాను నేను కూడాను. సో థ్యాంక్స్ టు వన్ అండ్ ఆల్. సో రియల్లీ వీఆర్ వెరీ హ్యాపీ టు ఆర్గనైజ్ దిస్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ నాలెడ్జ్ అండ్ సిస్టమ్ ఈజ్ మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. కరెంట్ జనరేషన్స్కి ఏదైతే లేదో అది మీరు ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తున్నందుకు మీకు అందరికీ ధన్యవాదాలు. థ్యాంక్ యూ వన్స్ అగైన్. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. థ్యాంక్ యూ. థ్యాంక్స్ ఫర్ గివింగ్ మీ ద ఆపర్చునిటీ, సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, whatever you have spoken on that foundation, we would be speaking on the spirit of that foundation, really. And you appropriately mentioned Dr. Tripuraneni Hanuman Chaudhary Garu's name, and he is the youngest nonagynarian, 95 years, but he is physically, mentally, spiritually, patriotically, highly disciplined. And now, I request Pragna Bharati President Srinivas to speak a few words about that organization. Okay. He has delegated B.S. Sharmaji to speak about Pragna Bharati.
Hello. Pragna Bharati is a nation first thinkers and practitioners forum established 33 years ago. Basically, we do 4 type of activities. We can call it as 4 P's. First P is public awareness. To educate the educated, Pragna Bharati conducts lot of seminars, symposia, round tables. Our target group is educated peoples. So in the universities, for the faculty, for the students, we do conduct on the current topics. Second P is our publications. Pragna Bharati is running one house journal called Bharatiya Pragna, a 60 pages English journal. Atre Sharmaji was also associated with that Bharatiya Pragna. After COVID, it has come in a web form. So apart from that, small booklets after the seminars also we do. So public awareness and publications is our job. Third is Puraskar. Every year Pragna Bharati gives Intellectual Excellency Award. Till now about 28 people got that award from various specialties who are striving for the countries. So the fourth P is an interesting P which we are doing now. Pick up the patriots. So there are many people who are not knowing Pragna Bharati. So we do meet them and we release their books through our forum. So these are the 4 type of activities we have been doing. Like Murthyji mentioned, Dr. Tripuraneni Hanuman Chaudhary, 95 years young. He is our chairman. So we have been working for the service of Bharat Mata for the last 33 years. Thank you very much.
Friends, I request all of you to keep your phones in silent mode. So now the session starts with poetry reading, and Dr. Y.L. Srinivas He presides over that. And I went to have the printouts to the Xerox center, but somehow the list of the poets, it is missing. Anyway, I don't miss the poets here. We will be inviting the poets in some random order. There is no alphabetical order. There is no seniority order like that. Now, with the permission of Srinivas ji, shall we go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I requested all the poets to send their short bio in about 100 words, but most of them could not send it because of their preoccupations. It doesn't matter anyway. So each poet, you please raise your hands. How many poets are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Krishnamurti garu? Okay. Oh, that is good. So you have to introduce yourself here very briefly, and then you have to read out your poem. It can be in any language, on any theme. If it is non-English, you try to give its very brief essence in English if possible, right? And including your introduction, you will be having a maximum time of 5 minutes, right? Now, first I invite a gentleman not in the back bench but in the front bench, who, a great philanthropist, who used 75% of his income for the sake of philanthropy, Dr. Munaga Ram Mohan Rao. I request him to come here and read out his poem.
శర్మ గారికి, రిషికేశ్ పాండా గారికి, ప్రజ్ఞా భారతి పెద్దలందరికీ, కవులందరికీ, అక్కలందరికీ నమస్కారం. నాకు 74 ఏళ్ళు కాబట్టి అక్కలన్నాను అనుకోవద్దు. సిస్టర్ ఈజ్ ఎ కామన్ వర్డ్. శర్మ గారు నా గురించి చెప్పారు. ఇక్కడ అందరూ కూడా చదువు సంబంధించిన విషయం, ప్రజ్ఞకు సంబంధించిన విషయం గురించి చెప్పారు కాబట్టి నా గురించి ఒక 30 seconds ఇంట్రడక్షన్ ఇస్తాను. చెప్పమంటారా? నాకు 4 masters, 3 doctorates, and plus I am a student of Harvard and MIT. I was a visiting professor to IFMR. It's at par with IIMs. I retired as a corporate CEO. 2 years back, I donated 75% of my funds meant for my retirement and built a beautiful college at Secunderabad, where 2,000 poorest of the poor girls study there, junior college. We made a beautiful building and donated to the government. Now, this is my later వ్యాపకం అంటాం కదా, ఈ వచ్చే ఖాళీగా ఉండి కవిత్వంలోకి వచ్చా అనమాట. నేను తెలుగులో చెప్తానండి. తెలుగులో నా కవిత్వం వచన కవిత్వం. పాండా గారికి తెలుగు తెలియదు కాబట్టి ఇంగ్లీష్లో బ్రీఫ్గా చెప్తాను. రాలే సత్యం, రాలే సత్యం కవిత పేరు. ది పోయం రిఫ్లెక్ట్స్ ఆన్ ది సైలెంట్ విజ్డమ్ ఆఫ్ నేచర్ త్రూ ది ఇమేజ్ ఆఫ్ ఫాలింగ్ ఫ్లవర్. వైల్ ది ఫ్లవర్ యాక్సెప్ట్స్ ఇట్స్ impermanence the moment it blooms, human beings struggle with loss and change. The poem contrasts nature's effortless acceptance with the restless questions of the human mind. Ultimately, it suggests that we call falling is not defeat, but a journey towards the deeper understanding. నేను కవితలోకి వస్తున్నానండి. రాలే సత్యం. పువ్వు రాలినప్పుడు చెట్టును నిందించదు, భూమి సంబరపడదు. కాలం మాత్రం ఏమీ జరగనట్టే తన మౌన గమనంలో ముందుకు సాగుతుంది. పువ్వుకు తాను రాలుతున్నాననే భయం లేదు, ఎందుకంటే అది వికసించిన క్షణమే తన అంతిమాన్ని కూడా సహజంగా ఒప్పుకుంది. ఇట్ యాక్సెప్ట్స్. నువ్వు మాత్రం వికసించిన ప్రతి క్షణాన్ని శాశ్వతమని భ్రమపడుతున్నావు. అందుకే ఏదైనా విడిచిపోతే నీ మనసు విలువలాడుతుంది. పువ్వు నేలను తాకుతుంది భారంగా కాదు, తన ఉనికిని తానే సమర్పించుకున్న అప్పగింతలా. నువ్వు నేలవైపు చూస్తే మాత్రం అది ఒక ఓటమిలా భావిస్తావు. అసలు తేడా నీ చూపులోనే ఉంది. పువ్వుకు నిన్నపై పట్టు లేదు. ఇట్ హ్యాస్ నో రాదర్ కంట్రోల్ ఓవర్ ఎస్టర్డే. రేపటికే ఆశ లేదు. కేవలం ఈ క్షణాన పంచుకున్న పరిమళమే దాని సాక్ష్యం. నువ్వు మాత్రం నిన్నటి భారాన్ని మోస్తూ రేపును అద్దెకి తీసుకుంటూ ఈ అపరూపమైన క్షణాన్ని కోల్పోతున్నావు. రాలిన పువ్వు నిశ్శబ్దంగా నేలలో కలిసిపోతుంది. ఏ ప్రశ్నలో అడగదు, ఏ తర్కంలో మునగకుండా. నువ్వు మాత్రం ఎందుకు అని కాలాన్ని నిలదీస్తావు. కానీ కాలం సమాధానం చెప్పదు. అది కేవలం తన నిగూఢ సత్యాన్ని కొనసాగిస్తుంది. పువ్వైనా నువ్వైనా కాలానికి బద్దులే. ఒక తేడా, పువ్వు ఈ సత్యాన్ని వికసించే వేళనే గ్రహించింది. నువ్వు మాత్రం రాలే వేళ కూడా ఇంకా నేర్చుకుంటూనే ఉన్నావు. అది ఓటమి కాదు మిత్రమా, అది నీ అజ్ఞానం నుండి అవగాహన వైపు సాగిన ఆఖరి ఏకాంత ప్రయాణం. దిస్ ఇస్ ఫస్ట్ పోయం. సార్ ఇంకోటి చదువుతా. స్మృతి తీరం, కాలపు మాయ. The poem reflects on the mysterious relationship between memory and time. In the quiet of old age, forgotten moments of youth suddenly return like a vivid dream. Yet the body cannot return to that world. And wisdom gently reminds us that the past is beyond reach. Ultimately, the poem suggests that while experiences fade, the silent awareness that witnesses them all remains eternal. స్మృతి తీరం, కాలపు మాయ. ముడతలు పడిన చర్మంపై కాలం రాసిన అలుపెరగని జ్ఞాపకాల సంతకాలు. వృద్ధాప్యపు చర్యలో వణుకుతున్న వేళ్ల మధ్య జీవితం ఆరిపోతున్న దీపంలా రెపరెపలాడుతోంది. అంతలో మనసు పొరలో తెరలు తొలగి ఒక సుదీర్ఘ స్వప్నం నిశ్శబ్దంగా గదిలో ప్రత్యక్షమైంది. మరో తీరం నుంచి వచ్చిన పాత మిత్రుడి పిలుపు. ఆ స్వరంలో యవ్వన సాహసాల ప్రతిధ్వనులు, ఆ కళ్ళలో మెరిసిన ప్రణయ జ్వాల వేడి, అదుపులేని యవ్వన అనుభూతులు ఆనందాల సుడిగుండంలా ఉవ్వెత్తున ఒకసారిగా కళ్ళ ముందే పునర్జన్మనెత్తాయి. మేము పంచుకున్న చిలిపి చేష్టలు, ఆ గాఢ ఆలింగనాలు కాలపు ధూళిలో కరిగిపోయాయన్న స్మృతులు ఒక్కసారిగా జలపాతంలో నాపై దుమికాయి. మనసు ఉవ్విళ్ళవుతోంది మళ్ళీ ఆ లోకంలో విహరించాలని. కానీ ముళ్ళ కంచెలాంటి వృద్ధాప్యం నన్ను కదలనివ్వదు. ఆధారం కోల్పోయిన శరీరం ఆ జ్వాలను మోయలేకపోయింది. జ్ఞానం మెల్లగా చెబుతుంది అది గతం అని. అది గతం అని. ఆ స్వప్నం కరిగేలోపే నా మిత్రుడి కళ్ళల్లో నన్ను నేనే చూసుకున్నాను. అక్కడ యవ్వనం లేదు, వృద్ధాప్యం లేదు. కాలపు అలలపై తేలుతున్న 2 చైతన్య కిరణాలు మాత్రమే. మెలకు వచ్చేసరికి జ్ఞాపకాల పరిమళం గదిలో ఇంకా మిగిలే ఉంది. నమస్కారం. I have one more, but sir. Thank you very much.
Please, Ramon, please.
Good morning to you all. We began in a very wonderful way with two poems by Sir. Two poems, in fact, have continuity and also conjunction. Well, the first poem is a contrast between flower and human life, and then why human being suffers the way he suffers. And he contrasts perhaps with flower and says flower adjusts and understands reality, and human beings don't, therefore they struggle. But if do human beings have option, not to struggle is the question. It is very romantic idea that you should not think about past, should not think about future. That is romantic idea. If you don't think about past, you can't really carve out your future. And of course, the second poem is also in a continuation where, you have the poet dreams of the past and then have longing to retrieve the past. And this is something, which reminds me of Wordsworth's most of the poems, which some of my victims are here, of course, they know. So why Wordsworth, would long for past is something, we have very close proximity with that. I reminded, when you were reading the second poem, I'm reminded of reading A.K. Ramanujan, who is a very popular poet in English, and then the person who understood the Indian reality. Although he spent very little time in India, after education he went to America and stayed there, died there. But all of his poems, reflect, they capture the essence of India. And the second poem, of course, is on those lines. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us a wonderful beginning.
Thank you, Srinivasji. Now I request a gentleman who has connection not only with the flowers but also with the forest. I request Hariprasad Garu to come here and read out his poems because he has got a very urgent engagement immediately.
పెద్దలందరికీ నమస్కారం. పిన్నలకు కూడా నమస్కారం. I'm Hari Prasad. I'm a retired district forest officer. I've been practicing as an advocate for the last about 12 years in the High Court of Telangana and High Court of Andhra Pradesh. Basically, my genesis was from the forest department. And I've been teaching cyber laws in the intellectual property rights in the Central University as a guest faculty. I've done my 4 PGs and 3 PG diplomas. And I teach in the Forest Academy also and Police Academy also. I've been teaching for the last about more than 6 or 7 years. Basically, I'm a forest officer, retired. ఒక అడ్వకేట్గా రూపాంతరం చెందాను. రూపాంతరం చెందిన తర్వాత నేను ఐ బీన్ ఇన్ ద హ్యాబిట్ ఆఫ్ రైటింగ్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఆర్టికల్స్ బోత్ ఇన్ ఇంగ్లీష్ అండ్ తెలుగు, అండ్ మై ఆర్టికల్స్ గెట్ ప్రింటెడ్ ఇన్ వన ప్రేమి అండ్ వన వికాస్ ఆఫ్ రిటైర్డ్ ఫారెస్ట్ ఆఫీసర్స్ అసోసియేషన్. Recently, my article, that's my word, I can say, it's patriotism, not a conceptual myth, was printed in Vana Vikas, Retired Forest Officers magazine of Karnataka. I was awarded Vana Mitra way back in 2000 by the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, and I was awarded Indira Gandhi Paryavarana Puruskar way back in 2004 by Government of India. That is briefly about me. In fact, I do not want to boast of myself, but there is a compulsion that I should talk something about me. So I was rather compelled to talk something about me. సో దాని తెలుగులో చెప్పాలంటే శతకోటి లింగాల్లో నేను కూడా ఒక బోడి లింగాన్ని, శరభలింగాన్ని అయితే కాదు. సో patriotism not a conceptual myth. Who is a patriot? This was printed in Vana Vikas, Retired Forest Officers magazine from Karnataka. Who is a patriot? Cropped up $1 million question in the mind of a plebeian. I serve the people as a de jure ruler. That's only me who is a great patriot. shouted the avaricious politician of India. Politics is the last resort of a scoundrel. You lead the people being rapacious and calling you patriot is ludicrous, screamed the commoner of India. I'm a bureaucrat. I'm the de facto ruler of this country. I'm a bureaucrat. I'm the de facto ruler of this country. I strive for human prosperity. I'm the true patriot of India, claimed a government servant. The indecent citizen stared at him insolently. Does it not amount to talking a big game? And does your affluence at the cost of our impoverishment make you a patriot? He yelled at him with disgust. The honest politician came to the rescue of the upright government servant by challenging the citizen of India while bellowing, "Is not accepting money for casting your vote an unpardonable crime of you, which amounts to a pot calling the kettle black?" Which amounts to a pot calling the kettle black. The avowed patriot of India, he is a bureaucrat being honest to the core, towing the line of trustworthy politician. The Jawan sacrificing his life is a patriot, and there is a paucity of politicians and government servants who have concern for those who are indecent. And as long as the voter in a democracy continues to be a religious fanatic or a casteist or one who sells his vote, resulting in a vicious cycle, the plight of the exploited lot remains unchanged. And as per the well said adage, when the winds of change blow, some people build walls and others build windmills. Thank you.
So thank you, sir, for that very wonderful poem, Demystifying Patriotism. It reminded me of Ambedkar's speech on November 26, 1949, when we adopted the Constitution. And in fact, the same theme of fraternity that he gives, that, unless or until you overcome the barriers that, surround us, be it religion, caste, whatever they may be, we will not become a nation and therefore become, a country, become a great nation. And your poem, in fact, reinforces that idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, where is Shailaja Mitra? Please come here.
Good morning to you all. My name is Shailaja Mitra. I completed my MA in English from Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati, and MA in Telugu from Usmania University, Hyderabad. I also hold a PG diploma in communications and journalism and a PG diploma in Carnatic music. My literary journey includes writing 10 poetry books and 5 short story books and 3 novels, I have also written about 765 book reviews and various various magazines and journals. In addition, I have completed 12 translation books and translations in Telugu to English of literary works into English. Though through poetry, stories, reviews, translations, I continue my contribution for Telugu literature. Recently, the United Nations gave a topic. If you gave it will return. Subject is like that. It was about women. I wrote a piece of poetry on this topic. Title is If We Give, We Gain. Giving is not merely an object passing from one hand to another. It is a journey of light from one heart to another. When a seed falls into the soil, we think it disappears. Yet, in the womb of time, it returns as a forest. In the same way, a helping hand we offer today grows with time and becomes wings for thousands of dreams. Woman, she is not just a name. She is patience like the earth, limitless like the sky. When she smiles, a dawn is born. When she speaks courage, the horizons light up. Give her knowledge, and her thoughts become diverse. Give her opportunity, and her dreams become oceans. Give a book, and a world begins to grow. Give a word of trust, and an era begins to change. Show a path to her steps, and society discovers a new direction. When she decides she gives her future to the generations ahead, she writes the histories of all. Giving does not mean losing what she possesses. It means expanding our humanity. If rivers hold back their waters, how will the ocean be born? If a lamp refuses to share its light, how will darkness disappear? In the same way, when our hearts learn generosity, the world learns equality. One person's helping hand becomes another path in life. One person's encouraging word becomes another guiding flame. When a woman rises, a family blossoms. When a woman shines, a nation dawns. That is why the era calls upon us. Give your time, your knowledge, your support, your trust. Because every gift given is the birth of 1,000 hopes. Every love shared is the music of 1,000 hearts. Only by giving do we truly receive. Only by sharing does the world shine. We have come into this world and we are ready to leave it someday. And we are ready to leave it someday. All the while we search for help, we wait for equality. Give and we gain is not just a slogan. It is eternal truth of humanity. Whatever she gives, return to us. Whatever she only take, remains behind. Life is what keeps returning again and again. Life is what keeps returning again and again, and what remains forever is history. And what remains forever is history. Thank you for this call, giving this opportunity, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Shailaja.
Thank you, Shailaja Garu. Very wonderful poem. It begins with women and, becomes a philosophy of life. Listening to the poem, I was partly reminded of Kamala Das. I think some of you, at least certainly Sindoor is aware, some of you are, know Kamala Das and my story. And of course, the tone and tenor are different, But then the theme by and large, talks, on those lines, and you asserted the importance of giving, taking the metaphor of a seed falling into soil. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shailaja, and kudos to you for your enormous output in literature. And now there are many poets here starting with the name Yes. And there behind there is one Dr. Sujata Gopal. Please come here. Poem. Not reading? Okay. So another Yes, then Dr. Sindhur Vakrur. Please come here.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sindhur Varkur. I'm an academic and a writer from Hyderabad. And my poem is very small. It's a very short poem. It's from my first collection of poems. It's called Viraha Madhavam. And the poem is titled Your Sita. I emerged out of fire, and nothing burnt me more than you. And there is a Telugu poet who translated it into Telugu. It goes like this in Telugu. Agni kaadu, kalchindi nuvu. Thank you.
But it was one line, but it can be in fact expanded into a thesis. Contrasting between the fire and the metaphor Sita. And in fact Sita emerges chased from fire, clean from fire, undaunted, undeterred by the fire and its impact. But then the you are talking in your line is a victim, would suffer. Whether she suffers or not is something for you to kind of tell us, but you chose to kind of leave it ambiguous. Ambiguity also helps in many ways. Thank you, Sindhur.
This was like a suspense poem.
And listening to Sindhi's poem, I am reminded of Vajpayee's line. Bindu bindu mein sindh hai. That is what Vajpayee said, and has exemplified that.
You were not reminded of our Modi's Operation Sindhur.
Operation Sindhur. Yes. Now Padmaja Iyengar. Padmaja Iyengar is a very well-known poet, writer, and also very good organizer of poetry events, not only at the state level but also at the national level. She has also participated in many poetry meets in other countries.
Since Atreya, my good friend, has good morning to you all first. Namaskar. Since Atreya has already introduced me, I don't think I need to further, introduce myself. Except that, I have about 10 books which I have done, out of which 6 are international multilingual poetry anthologies. And quite a few of them are in the Limca Book of Records as poetry anthology in most languages. I'll start with a Hindi poem, since no one has read Hindi so far, and then I will read an English poem if permitted. Yeah. The Hindi poem is titled Lekha Jokha. ये मेरे जीवन की है अंतिम यात्रा, ये मेरे जीवन का है आखिरी पड़ाव। चारों धाम का भ्रमण कर लिया मुक्ति और निर्वाण की खोज में। अहंकार और आत्म प्रशंसा को त्याग कर प्रेम और द्वेष को लांघ कर पहुंची मैं एक दिव्य और अद्भुत द्वार समक्ष, जहां सरस्वती और लक्ष्मी खड़ी थी मेरे स्वागत में और कहा, देर आए मगर दुरुस्त आए। सब कुछ छोड़ छाड़ कर जैसे तुम हो वैसे ही, बगैर किसी मुखौटे के या झूठे वेश में, तुम जो हो सो हो हमारे समक्ष। अपने जीवन का लेखा जोखा मीन्स अकाउंट्स एक्चुअली। अपने जीवन का लेखा जोखा अब दे दो हमें और फिर हम सोचेंगे तुम्हारा क्या किया जाए। स्वर्ग का द्वार खोलें या ढकेल दे नर्क में। थैंक यू। Now to an English poem. This is an experience, I have used the metaphor of ladder. This is an experience all of you would have had in life, I'm sure. The title of my poem is The Ladder. I'm always where I am, though sometimes moved to be put in another place, to bring what's up down, to place what's down up. I stand where I am placed. People climb on me to reach a place up. Some explore and return to the ground. Some stay up there with wind on their face, little realizing that this very wind may blow them away. Some place me on another's shoulder to scale a higher peak, all set to remain there. Then they kick me, and both of us fall. I mean the shoulder and me. The shoulder moves away after helping me to stand. Suddenly, a man came crying and held me tight. Me is the ladder here. What happened? Who are you? I asked. Don't you remember me? No, so many climb on me. I am the same one who propped you up on my friend's shoulder and climbed on you to reach the top. I am the one who kicked you, causing my friend and you to fall. It's okay, I'm used to this. I thought you had reached the top to stay put there. It was great while it lasted, my climb to the top and my stay up there. I shouldn't have kicked you. I should have come down to check the ground reality. I didn't notice the winds of change. I didn't see competition gushing in to blow all. That was past its prime and no longer of use. The wind blew me away, causing my steep fall. Thank you. That's it. Any other? I think only 2 poems, no? Okay, right. In that case, I maybe. This is a very favorite poem of mine, a short one. I usually write short poems only. It's a very, very favorite poem of mine, one of the earliest I wrote. It's called The Poetry of the Heart. When a poem emanates from the heart, it very much develops like a work of art, with colors from the wings of many birds that lend themselves to the poet's words. Much like the strokes of an artist's brush, a poem gets nourished by words that rush to give it a flourish, a structure, and a feel that make the poem glide on an even keel. When from the heart a poem emanates into a chain reaction, it often detonates, words exploding with meaning and rhythm like the colorful rays of light from a prism. Much like the scenario of a pleasant dream, the poem shimmers like a cascading stream when thoughts and feelings poetically unite to weave a seamless tapestry of day and night. Poetry of the heart reaches for the skies in words that touch the soul and our eyes. In the poetry of the heart, there are no lies, as it lingers on in the psyche and never dies. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the honor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Padmaja. All the three poems are really wonderful. Especially the second, the first English poem is highly philosophical, metaphorical. You have a lot of complexity woven into the texture of poem. And of course, the third poem reminded me, which some of my colleagues here are aware, Nissim Ezekiel's poet, lover, and a bird watcher. And where the contrast, of course, you talk about, rushing with words kind of a thing. Nissim Ezekiel only talks in terms of, being patient and wait for the word. And of course, you don't wait for the word because words are within you. Thank you very much.
So the next poet is Nivedita. Nivedita is a very young poet, and more than that, she is the founder of Lampshade Poetry Group, a poetry group which is very humble, modest, without any mic like this. And they also say, leave your shoes outside and come in and read out your poem. That is what she says. And after Nivedita, Ramalakshmi Garu, get ready after Nivedita.
Thank you so much, sir, for that introduction. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to read 4 short poems. They are all on the theme of women, because I thought tomorrow is Women's Day, so let me read on that. Each is dedicated to 4 different women who have inspired me and influenced me in their own way. So here it goes. These are haiku, and some of them are shorter than that. So I'll just start reading. This is the first one. Temple flowers, the scent of Nanamma's hair bun. Temple flowers, the scent of Nanamma's hair bun. We'll go to the second one. The glow on mother's face, Brahma Kamalam. The glow on mother's face, Brahma Kamalam. The third one. Leading to childhood, the road to Amamma's home. Leading to childhood, the road to Amamma's home. And the last one. Hyderabad Book Fair. We meet a late friend in her cover page. Hyderabad Book Fair. We meet a late friend in her cover page. That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.
All the 4 poems are really wonderful. They are thought provoking. I think Sindur had set this tone, and then others are continuing with one-liners. And especially the line about the book fair that you said, it touches everyone with experience. That's what everyone feels, when visiting any book fair. If it need not be Hyderabad Book Fair, any book fair. And then that leaving childhood and then, road to Nanamma's, Amamma's. Okay, doesn't matter. Yeah. Amamma's, is, highly thematic and very philosophical and absolutely telling and stunning, coming from a girl of your age. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, the poetess here is Mochala Ramalakshmi Garu, and her she penned so many nanis also, but again she gravitated into Sanskrit language, and she herself composed Sanskrit lyrics which she sings. So she is going to sing a Sanskrit song. Next poet would be Sambangi Srinivas.
सर्वेभ्यः नमस्काराः सभायां नमस्कृतं मम नाम रामलक्ष्मी न त्वं कामये राज्यं न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं దుఃఖతప్తానాం ఆర్తినాశనం అనే ఈ శ్లోకాన్ని తీసుకుని నేను 4 సంస్థలు నిర్మించానండి. బాల వికాసం, వృద్ధ ఉల్లాసం, స్త్రీ అభ్యుదయం, సమాచార సేవా సహకారం. ఈ నేపథ్యంలో ప్రతిదీ ఎవరికైనా కథావస్తువు సమాజమే. సమాజంలోంచి తీసుకున్న ప్రతి దాన్ని ఒక కథో కవితో నాటికో జోకో పాటో రాయటం నాకు అలవాటు. ఇది నా చిన్న కార్యక్రమం. ఇదిలో ఎంతమందో ఫస్ట్ జనరేషన్ వాళ్ళకి అసలు ఫ్యామిలీలో తల్లిదండ్రులు చదువు రాని వాళ్ళకి రెమెడియల్ కోచింగ్ సెంటర్ అని పెట్టి వాళ్ళందరినీ చదువుకునే వాళ్ళగా తయారు చేసి వాళ్ళ చేత కూడా కవిత్వము నాటకాలు అవి రాయించడం మొదలుపెట్టాను. ఈరోజు పూర్తిగా నాకు కార్యక్రమం పట్ల అవగాహన లేదు, కానీ సంస్కృతంలోనే సరస్వతీదేవిని ప్రార్థిస్తూ నా నాలుక మీద నర్తించు అని చిన్నది రాసుకొచ్చాను, అది ప్రజెంట్ చేస్తాను. మమ ముఖే నర్తయతు, మమ ముఖే నర్తయతు. ముఖే అంటే నోరు, నా నోట్లో నృత్యం చెయ్యి అని అడుగుతున్నాను. ఎందుకంటే మీ అందరూ గొప్ప చదువుకున్న వ్యక్తులు, అందుకోసం వేత్తులు మీరందరూ. అయం హ్రీం శ్రీం శ్రీ సరస్వత్యై నమః. ఓం ఐం హ్రీం శ్రీం శ్రీ సరస్వత్యై నమః. సురాసుర నమస్కృతే వింజనచల విరాజితే, సురాసుర నమస్కృతే వింధ్యాచల విరాజితే, దివ్యాలంకార భూషితే, పాహి పాహి ఈర్షితే, దివ్యాలంకార భూషితే, పాహి పాహి ఈర్షితే. జ్ఞాన ప్రకాశిని అంతర్వాహిని, జ్ఞాన ప్రకాశిని అంతర్వాహిని, సరసి జనయని కృపా కరోతు జనని, సరసి జనయని కృపా కరోతు జనని. మృదు మధుర పద శోభితే సుధా పరిపూరితే, మృదు మధుర పద శోభితే సుధా పరిపూరితే, రమణీయ రాగరంజితే, రమణీయ రాగరంజితే, మమ ముఖే నర్తనం కురుతు, మమ ముఖే నర్తయతు, మమ ముఖే నర్తయతు, మమ ముఖే నర్తయతు, మమ ముఖే నర్తయతు. అవకాశం ఇచ్చిన అత్రే శర్మ గారికి ధన్యవాదాలు, అందరికీ కూడా ధన్యవాదాలు.
Madam, I think you need not to pray now. That already the Goddess Saraswati is dancing on your tongue and every line. That I think the last two lines are redundant because the entire poem is so eloquent and enriching that already you are blessed with Goddess Saraswati, and you tell us the secret later.
And a small connection, of course, that is not relevant here, but with an informal gathering. And Ramalakshmari's husband, M.S. Rao, he was the president of SBI Officers Association. So I was his colleague in the bank. And next, Sambangi Srinivas, please come here. He is an expert in Japanese form of poetry.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, and my dear poet friends. Am I audible? Yes. Yeah, okay. I thought I am the only one who would read shorter poems, but the turn was set by Sindoor, followed by Nivedita. I am the third one. I'm a haiku poet. Today I'm going to read, I think I don't need introduction. My introduction is as short as a haiku. So today I'm going to read a set of haiku and senryu. Haiku doesn't have any title because the poem itself is as short as a title. And this set of senryu and haiku are not interconnected, they are independent, each one having its own meaning. Okay? Deep inhale, deep exhale, balloon vendors yoga. Hierarchy, the joy of ignoring the law of gravity. Autumn sea, my fishing net folds the stillness. Autumn sea, my fishing net folds the stillness. Reaching shore, the mallard's shadow regains its feet. Reaching shore, the mallard's shadow regains its feet. Harvest moon, no matter which side they turn, Ukrainian sunflowers. Harvest moon, no matter which side they turn, Ukrainian sunflowers. Gunshot, crows leave the tree leafless. Gunshot, crows leave the tree leafless. Someone reminded me tomorrow is Women's Day, so this is on women. My in-laws' home, she is asked to feel at home. My in-laws' house, she is asked to feel at home. Salvation, I slap myself for killing a mosquito. Again on Women's, on the occasion of Women's Day. Rose Mallow, she says, I still need to open up. Rose Mallow, she says, I still need to open up. The next one is on the impact of technology on the species, how they extinct in future. Cell tower zone, I know the sparrow by a ringtone. This is what is going to happen in future. They will not see sparrows. Cell tower zone, I know the sparrow by a ringtone. The last one a bit philosophical. Caught in the web, a fly and the spider. Caught in the web, a fly and the spider. Spider also cannot leave the web, you know. Samsaram. Thank you very much.
Sir, somebody among the audience said superb as usual. So I don't know because people know you, therefore they said. But in fact, all the poems are indeed superb. That one-liners are very touching and then very crisp, and at the same time, depth in terms of semanticity, in terms of meaning, they are highly. Especially the last line, the poem that you said, both the spider and the fly, they can't escape, is unraveling the enigma of life. Thank you so much.
And here, the women poets have outnumbered the men poets, giving an excellent background to the international women's. And now may I request Narada Patla Aruna to please come forward. And the next poet would be Dr. Anumula Sridevi.
అందరికీ నమస్కారాలు. నా పేరు అరుణ నారద భట్ల. నేను 2 వచన కవిత్వ సంపుటాలు వేశాను. ఒకటి ఇన్నాళ్ల మౌనం తర్వాత, 2 లోపలి ముసురు అని. 2023లో నాకు తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్ర విశిష్ట మహిళా పురస్కారం వచ్చింది మహిళా దినోత్సవం సందర్భంగా. అలానే ఖమ్మం ఈస్థెటిక్స్ అవార్డు వచ్చింది 23లోనే. రొట్టెమాకు రేవు అవార్డు 24లో వచ్చింది. అలానే 25లో సి నారాయణ రెడ్డి గారి మహాకవి సాహితీ పురస్కారం వచ్చింది. నేను ఈ మధ్య అమర్నాథ్ యాత్రా చరిత్ర, నా అమర్నాథ్ యాత్ర అని ఒక యాత్రా కథనం కూడా రాశాను, ట్రావెలాగ్. అలానే పద్య కవిత్వం కూడా రాస్తుంటాను. 100 మంది కవులతో 100 పద్యాలు 100 ఛందస్సుల్లో రాయించారు. అట్లా దాంట్లో 100 మందిలో నన్ను కూడా సెలెక్ట్ చేసి రాయించారు. అనంత ఛందస్ సౌరభాలు అని పద్య కవిత్వం. అందులో కూడా 100 ఛందస్సుల్లో 100 పద్యాలు రాశాను నేను, అనంత ఛందస్ సౌరభాలు అనే బుక్లో. ఇది చిన్నగా నా పరిచయం. ఇప్పుడు నేను చదవబోయే కవిత శీర్షిక మనకెందుకులే. టైటిల్ మనకెందుకులే. నిశ్శబ్దంగా నడుద్దాం వర్ణాల్లోకి తొంగి చూడకుండా. గోడ మీద వరుసగా పాకే చీమలను అనుసరించి ఆకలి రాజ్యానికి ఆహారం మోసుకుంటూ చప్పుడు చేయకుండా నడుద్దాం. వెళ్ళే దారిన పురుగొకటి చస్తుంది, జంతువు ఒకటి జీవశవం అవుతుంది, మానవత్వం నిండిన మనిషొకడు మరణిస్తాడు. పక్క నుండి ముచ్చటిస్తూ మనసులో మోకరిల్లి మౌనంగా వెళ్ళిపోదాం. అంతరంగపు అరణ్యాలు వాటంతటవే కాలిపోతుంటాయి. పురుడు పోసుకున్న మొలకలన్నీ దహనంలో సమిధలవుతుంటాయి. భోరుమంటూ నిండుగా కొంగు కప్పుకొని అరచేతులతో నోరు మూసుకొని ఆకాశం నల్లమేఘమై వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. జంతువులన్నీ ఘర్షణలో సంచరించి బూడిదలోని ఎముకల నేరుతుంటాయి. వాసనలు పసిగట్టిన కుందేలు పిల్లలు, నక్కలు కొన్ని రంగు కాగితాల్లో, మరికొన్ని కన్నీటి గుహల్లో నలుదిక్కులను నాగరికులను చేస్తుంటాయి. నోట కరుచుకున్న చక్కెర పదార్థాన్ని జారవిడవకుండా మనం నిశ్శబ్దంగా నడిచి వెళ్ళిపోదాం. వర్ణధారల్లోకి వదిలేసిన పడవనెక్కి మతిలేని కాలానికి మాటెందుకంటూ మనము వెళ్ళిపోదాం. నిర్మోహమాటంగా నీతిలేని సంస్కృతికి కన్నీళ్లనిచ్చి మనం నిశ్శబ్దంగా వెళ్ళిపోదాం. ఆహార్యాన్ని మోసుకుంటూ మౌనంగానే మరో అక్షరమై మనము వెళ్ళిపోదాం. థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి. ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చిన ఆత్రేయ శర్మ గారికి మరియు అందరికీ థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you, Aruna Garu. Highly philosophical, and it reminds me of Acharya Gopi's poetry. That you in one single poem you try to in fact define the all-pervasive apathy of the humans, which is becoming highly selfish. Thank you very much.
Dr. Anumula Sridevi, English faculty in FLU.
Thank you, sir. Respected dignitaries on the dais and my dear poets, Good morning. My poem that I'm reading now, I'm influenced by T.S. Eliot's four quartets, Vayalsar and Sindhur. This is slightly philosophical, and this is about how we are trapped in time. I am an outsider on this flying trapeze, longing to move forward. Racing up to this run, I am in a game of hide and seek of a measured dream. This is a wingless flight that always spins me back into a cold emptiness of fixed loop. The farther I go, nothing is left undone or done. As tomorrow too fades into yesterday's image of an intraspace, with a beginning in the end and the end in its beginning. This is titled Fourth Dimension. And I have another small poem, very small micro poem. I am cloud. I am cloud, river wears my body. I am cloud, river wears my body. I am cloud, sky journeys me. I am cloud, sky journeys me. And another micro poem. This is written during COVID times. Sun watches bobcat bringing along wild sound to break concrete silence. Sun watches bobcat bringing along wild sound to break concrete silence. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity and the honor. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sridevi. In fact, you have recreated Eliot here. I'm reminded, in fact, of T.S. Eliot's another poem, Love Song. When you, in fact, reading those 4 lines, absolutely fine. In fact, the second short poem that you read, or for the metaphor of cloud, is also very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, we have a poet among us. She has Tamil origin, but her blood is 150% Telugu in every way. That is Sataluri Padma. Please.
Good morning, everyone. Respected chief guest and all the dignitaries on the stage and my dear friends. I have been in the field of education for a long period of time, worked as the principal, head of the Department of English, academic coordinator, and a teacher. When I talk about my literary journey, I began it many years ago, I could say that. I am a bilingual poet. I write in Telugu and English. I was also the editor of Muse India, Your Space, Muse India, for a few years. That's about me. The poem I'm going to read is on love, that is mature love. Like a trembling leaf under the stem, like a delicate petal on the thorny branch, and as innocent as a newborn baby, I was in 2 minds when I approached you. You feared me when you looked into my eyes. I knew not how to speak out my mind. You told me not what you really need. Lips were shut and silence silenced the heart. When you stretched your warm hand, I shook it. When you uttered a word, it gave me surety. Discussions enlightened you and me. Unknown, unusual, and unnoticed feel engulfed me. Impalpable touch touched the heart. Eyes spoke and tongue expressed. Talk over a cup of coffee brought comfort. Your presence gave me courage and glee. From an innocent to an intelligent, from insane to a matured person, and from a fearful to a faithful being, I changed the change in my brain. Words touched the heart at once. Thoughts exchanged for a cause. Actions affected you and me that showed result and resilience. You created a world within me where duty becomes responsibility, connection causes companionship, and love becomes the key to the heart. Love taught me how to develop, affection enthralled every moment, trust enhanced the existence, and experience became a teacher again and again. Soul spoke for ages and abilities altered. Ambience turned into a favorable residence. Flowers smiled, the moon shone, and the stars stared. The earth and the sky embraced you and me. Am I matured or is it a matured love? Come on, tell me, dear. Thank you. I'm going to read another one, Telugu. Sir, am I permitted, sir? Yeah, thank you, sir. This a small poem in Telugu. I'm going to read it. It is actually about prosperity. The humankind wants to have prosperity in the world, but what happens is that, as we all know, that sometimes we cut the trees and we destroy environment and we don't think of other human beings. That is based on that. I think you can understand when I read it. Yeah. Pragatiki metlu. చూడవేల ఈ బీళ్లు పడిన నేల, చుక్క చుక్క ఒక్కొక్క భవనం తాగగా, మేఘాలు మూగబోయి సంద్రాలు చల్లబడి రైతన్న కళ్ళల్లో కన్నీటి బుట్టాయే. ఏ దిక్కుగాంచిన భవనాల సముదాయం, వందలు వేలయ్యే వేలు లక్షలయ్యే. ఆనాటి వేప చెట్టు గాలేది, నడిచే బాటసారికి నిలిచే నీడేది. ఎక్కుబెట్టిన విక్రమార్కుడిలా ఒక్కొక్క చెట్టు గొడ్డలి వేటుకి అడ్డంగా నిలబెట్టి నరకడం భావ్యమా? భూమి నీది కాదు, ముందు తరాలది. పచ్చని చెట్లు ప్రగతికి మెట్లు, పక్షులు జంతువులు వాపోయే. దారి తెన్ను లేక ఎడారి పాలాయే, నిలువ నీడ లేక దిక్కు తోచకపాయే. రోడ్ల కిరువైపులా నాటిన వృక్షాలు, కదిలే కన్నుల చూపులకు సేదతీరాలు. ప్రకృతి ఒడిలో పవ్వళించుటయే పరమావధి కావలే కాని నాశనం వేళ. పరిసరాల పరిరక్షణకై పాటుపడుమా, ప్రాణవాయువుని ప్రసాదించుమా. ఒక చెట్టు నరికిన చోట 10 మొక్కలు నాటు, ప్రజాభాగ్యం మార్చు. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you so much, Padma Garu. And the first poem on love is, in fact, highly insightful, critical. Every word is measured, and you say experience becomes a teacher. You know, again and again is the quintessential line in the entire poem. And of course, the second poem is a wonderful message on the importance of ecology. Both poems are very good. In fact, I would want to kind of go through this poem again. They are anyway going to give me the printed version. Wonderful poem. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Dear friends, now with your permission, before I invite very prominent poets, can I read out my poems in between? My introduction is not necessary, I think. Okay, anyway, for the sake of a few people who don't know about me, I retired from State Bank of India, but somehow right from the beginning, my bosses and my colleagues, the entire ecosystem, they inspired me. You write something, you do something in life like. So I graduated from BSc to MA Literature to PG Communications Master, all these things. And for the last 15 years or so, I am on the editorial board of Muse India. I am the chief editor of Muse India, an online English journal, which was established in 2005. And you see, what is this month now? March, isn't it? Now, the season is going to be an attraction for which type of fruit? Yes, you are right. Yes, man, go for the mango is the title, and it is in the form of Shakespearean sonnet. In March, raw mangoes do tickle our taste. We wait for 2 long months from there to pass. They sell the carbide-treated fruit in haste. These traders for quick gain with conscience sparse. Though highly dear in price, such fruit we buy. We bite them dreamily and say a curse. Profusion of their fruiting, then we espy all types of mangoes, yummy and diverse. Raw slices tinged with salt, ripe pulpy fruit, or ample juice mixed with curd and rice meal. Away the summer woes with a treat so beaut. Then ends the season with a wistful feel, a palatal joy, wow for everyone. You will badly lose sans mango, the real fun. That is about the mangoes. And next, coming to our ecosystem, regarding protection of nature and all that, the title is The Reluctant River. The Reluctant River. A streak of water oozed up from a spring. A streak of water oozed up from a spring, and soon it swelled up into a little stream to course down on gravel, sand and pebbles. It is me flowing slow, but sure and steady. I smelled and sighted many more rivulets about, all welcomed and embraced by the yonder mighty river. Feeling that I belong to the same class, I too yearned to near the mighty river and be its part. No, you can't, you shouldn't, allow you I won't, roared the mighty river and sneered and sniggered. I will let in only pretty and soft ones, sinuous and graceful. I will admit only those that can take to my water just like ducks. And I reply and appeal, O mighty one, me too glimmer with gurgling waters, traversing a memorial plateau, please let me in. No, never, you are an untouchable. You reek of acrid turbid waters. You are as dull as dishwater. I love to hate your face. Keep away from me. So was cold water poured over me. Tears welled up in my eyes into a sea. And the sea addressed me. Don't you worry a bit, dear. You needn't join that mighty haughty river. Flow on unmindful your own way. Like every other river, you will also come to me. With open arms, I welcome you and take you in. Followed then the sky, who said, Don't despair, even if your course stops, and your waters sink into sands, for they will finally go up the air into the sky and reach my blue empire anyway. So that ends there. And next you see, all of us are into passion of bringing out our poetry books and all that. A very difficult and arduous task. It is about that. One poem, multiple claims is the title. One poem, multiple claims. The DTP operator says, Oh, how well I have formatted the poem. It has been finally published and they have acknowledged my service. The editor says, How nice is the poem with my editing touch. My name has added to its credibility. The printer says, How neatly I have printed it. No smudges, no wrinkles. especially the printer's name and address. Oh, what an imprint. The paid critic says, oh, what a masterpiece, my foreword, a royal entrance, you needn't go further. The patron says, oh, how attractive my advertisement. It would boost the sales of the book. I mean the sales of my wares. The reader says, where is the leisure to read this free copy on this type of bizarre stuff? The poet, that is me, says, oh, how lovely my poem. I repeat myself pat, and I read and reread it a number of times. From the paper wrapping the savory, that I nibble in no mean measure. So my poem transformed into a scrap of paper.
Where is proofreader?
You are. The savory smacks, and it is the final word. Hey, the delightful is not from your poem, it is from the sapidity of my identity. Wise cracked my favorite savory piquantly. Thank you.
Very good, sir. Atre Sharma garu, a wonderful poem. And in fact, that the piece on the book is in fact telling, because that's how you self-critique ourselves. In fact, in one of A.K. Ramanujan's poems, a very popular poem, Obituary, where he sees, an obituary of his father, on a cone of paper, that he gets from a sweet vendor there. But then your poems, you gave a glimpse of it, compel the reader to read, not you, the readers, and then, also acknowledge your talent. Thank you, sir.
I want 1 minute.
Sure, you will be having, not 1 minute. The entire time is yours. And now, she is already in the limelight. I ask her to come forward here. Yes, please guess who? Yes. Sindhu is right. Swati Sripada. Come here, my sister.
మధురమైన నా మాతృభాషలో వినిపిస్తాను కవిత. ఘడియ ఘడియకు ఎటు ఒత్తిగిలితే అటు త్రుటిలో ప్రత్యక్షమవుతూ పొద్దుతిరుగుడు పూలైన గడిచిన క్షణాలు తేమ తగిలితే చాలు పటిల్లున విస్ఫోటించే కనకాంబరం నలుసంత విత్తనాలై చెదిరిపడుతూ రెక్కలు లేకున్నా గాలి కొన వేలి చివర గిరికీలు కొడుతూ ఎన్ని నెమరివేతలు. ఎక్కడి నుండో ఎప్పటికప్పుడు పుట్టుకు వచ్చే సమాచారం మెరుపుల మధ్య వెలుగు వెల్లువలవుతూ కరుమరుగైన ఒక సజీవత. ఎవరన్నారు గతం గతః అని? పాపం అనుక్షణము ఎంత రేపటిలోకి దూసుకు వెళ్తుందో అంతే వెనక్కు జారి లిప్తలో తిరిగి వచ్చే ఊహలు తెలియని మాటలు కదా. ఒక గాలి సవ్వడిలోనో ఆకుపులొక్కింతలోనో ఒదిగి ఒక మౌనం చిటారి కొమ్మన స్వప్నాలను పొదుగుతూ అర్ధ నిమీలిత అక్షరాల మధ్య రాలితూలే పున్నాగల పుప్పొడి ధూళిలో పొర్లాడి పొర్లాడి పరవశించే ఘడియలకు ఆద్యమెక్కడ అంతమెక్కడ? పాయలు పాయలుగా చీలిన దారుల రహస్యాలు గూగుల్ పొరల మధ్య దాక్కున్నట్టు దాగుడు మూతల ఆటలో పొరల మధ్య ఏ కణజాలాల రహస్య పేటికల్లో ఉన్నాయో కానీ లేతాకు అంచులను తలుపు చిరు స్పర్శ నిమిరిన తొంగి చూస్తాయి. ఎక్కడ తవ్వినా ఉబికి వచ్చే పాల సముద్రాలు. తొలి కణం ప్రాణం పుంజుకున్న క్షణం మొదలు కూర్పులు చేర్పులే కాని మరుపు మరు జన్మకే.
థ్యాంక్ యూ స్వాతి.
లాస్ట్ పోయం ఇది చాలా బాగుందండి, చాలా బాగా చెప్పారు. ఐ రీడ్ ద ఒరిజినల్ టెక్స్ట్ అండ్ దెన్ పర్హాప్స్ హ్యావ్ ఎన్ ఎలాబరేట్ కామెంట్.
Lakshmi Manasa, please come here. I already told you. She is Lakshmi Manasa, rooted totally in literary and cultural background, but her profession is pharma. She is a pharma scientist.
వేదిక మీద ఉన్న పెద్దలందరికీ, ముందున్న పెద్దలందరికీ, కవులందరికీ కూడా హృదయపూర్వక నమస్కారాలు. నన్ను హైట్ బ్యాడ్స్ అనే సమూహంలో భాగస్వామ్యం చేసినందుకు ఆత్రేయ శర్మ సార్ గారికి అనేక ధన్యవాదాలు. నేను చదవబోతున్నటువంటి కవిత తాలూకు సంఘర్షణ మొదలు చెప్తాను. పొద్దున్న లేస్తే అందరము ఉద్యోగాలని పరుగులు పెడుతూ ఉంటాము. పెరుగుతున్న అవసరాలు, అందుకోలేని ధరలు మనందరికీ తెలిసిందే. ఈ సంఘర్షణలో ఓవైపు తల్లి పిల్లలు పడేటువంటి సంఘర్షణ బొమ్మ బొరుసుల్లా ఎలా ఉంటుందో నా మాటల్లో. బతుకు పుస్తకంలో బాల్యానికో పేజీ, భుజాలపైనే కాదు బుర్రల్లో కూడా బరువును మోస్తూ, ఒళ్ళంతా కళ్ళతో అమ్మ ఒడిలోని వెచ్చదనానికై ఎదురు చూస్తూ, నాన్నతో 4 అడుగులు వేసి ప్రపంచమంతా చూడాలని తప్పిస్తూ, ఆటపాటలన్నీ అడియాసలవుతున్నా అర్థం చేసుకుంటూ, అబాకస్ లెక్కల బంధం తప్ప ఆవకాయతో అనుబంధం తెలియని పసి మనసులు అమ్మ జీవితంలో 1 గంటైనా కొనుక్కుందాం అనుకుంటున్నాయి. వేడుకల వెలుతుర్లలో బాల్యాన్ని వెతుక్కుంటున్నాయి. అడిగినవన్నీ ఇస్తూనే అమ్మతనం ఆత్మవంచనకు లోనవుతోంది, అందని ద్రాక్షలా మిగిలినందుకు. ఆషాఢ మేఘాలైన ఆమె కన్నులు అంకురార్పణ చేస్తున్నాయి అసలైన బాల్యాన్ని పండించాలని. పద్యాన్ని రాసే అలవాటు ఎక్కువగా ఉంది కాబట్టి ఒక పద్యంతో నా కృతజ్ఞత చెప్పి ముగిస్తాను. భద్రము భద్రమౌను కవి భాషణ భూషిత పద్య విద్యకున్. భద్రము భద్రమౌను కవి భాషణ భూషిత పద్య విద్యకున్. భద్రము సత్కళావళికి భద్రము మీదుర సజ్ఞ దృష్టికిన్. భద్రము తెలుగు నేలకును భద్రము భారత పుణ్యదాత్రికిన్. భద్రము పృథ్వీకంతకును భద్రము నేనిక పోయివచ్చదన్. నమస్కారం.
Both are wonderful. Manasa kada, yeah. Both are really wonderful, and in fact, the first poem I thought slightly complicated because whether not very clear. I failed to perhaps understand whether you are praising the Ammatanam or you are trying to highlight the hypocrisy that Amma feels because she is basically doused with that social discourse on the importance of Ammatanam. So that of course we can talk later, but both the poems are very good. Your rendition is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, it is not nepotism at all. He is my cousin Prabhakar. And he is not a poet. He studied only up to SSLC. But he goes on writing lyrics in a simple way. He has written more than 100 lyrics. And once when he happened to be at Tirupati to attend a wedding, the same night they had to leave, and there was no chance for them to go to the temple because of heavy rush. He approached the EO there and he said, no, I can't. do you have any recommendation letter? Just he dropped a paper before him. What is this? He said. He kept quiet. After going through that, he said, he immediately cleared his entrance to the temple.
తిరుపతి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు నా ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఇది. తిరుపతి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు నాకు జరిగిన ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అనమాట. ఓకే. వెంకటేశ కలియుగంబున కల్పతరుబువై 7 కొండలందు నీవు వెలసినావయ. కలియుగంబున కల్పతరువువై 7 కొండలందు నీవు వెలసినావయ. జాలి గుండెతోడ మమ్ము చూడరావయ. జాలి గుండెతోడ మమ్ము చూడరావయ. అంజనాద్రి యందు నీవు ఆదిదేవుడా. గరుడాద్రి యందు నీవు గరుడ వాహన. అంజనాద్రి యందు నీవు ఆదిదేవుడా. గరుడాద్రి యందు నీవు గరుడ వాహన. శేషశైలమందు నీవు శ్రీనివాసుడా. 7 కొండలందు నీవు వెంకటేశుడా. శేషశైలమందు నీవు శ్రీనివాసుడా. 7 కొండలందు నీవు వెంకటేశ్వర. నడచి నడచి వచ్చాము నీ కొండకు. నడచి నడచి వచ్చాము నీ కొండకు. చేరుకున్న మమ్ములను చేరదీయవ. చేరుకున్న మమ్ములను చేరదీయవ. అడిగి అడిగి వచ్చాము నీ కొండకు. అలమేలు మంగ కూడా మాకు అభయమిచ్చను. అలమేలు మంగ కూడా మాకు అభయమిచ్చను. ఒక్కసారి మనసారా చూడవలయురా. ఒక్కసారి మనసారా చూడవలయురా. మొక్కుబడులు తీర్చుకొని పోదుమయ్య. మొక్కుబడులు తీర్చుకొని పోదుమయ్య. కలియుగంబున కల్పతరువువై 7 కొండలందు నీవు వెలసినావై. చూసి చూసి మురిశాము శ్రీనివాసుడా. చూసి చూసి మురిశాము శ్రీనివాసుడా. కోరి కోరి వచ్చాము నీ కొండకు. కోరి కోరి వచ్చాము నీ కొండ. పద్మావతి నాథుడా పలుకవయ్య. పద్మావతి నాథుడా పలుకవయ్య. కలియుగంబున కల్పతరువై 7 కొండలందు నీవు వెలసినావయ్య. జాలిగుండెతోడ మమ్ము చూడరావ. జాలిగుండెతోడ మమ్ము చూడరావయ్య. సారీ. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఫర్ ఆపర్చునిటీ.
Before YL comments, he is very emotional, but that catharsis can be salubrious. It is also a good factor of health, I think.
Catharsis is for the audience. Yeah. So, but very good, sir. That, spontaneous. In fact, every word is punctuated with devotion, and your respect, for the Almighty. And you did not tell us what is that you wrote and had shown the EO, because we have under the pressure for darshans.
Okay, now I am going to invite one poet. Any more poets are left here? Okay, now the star speaker gets the last chance, isn't it? So Satyabhama, my sister, she is the star poet now. Please come here. Please introduce yourself and read out your poem.
మాతృ పితృ గురు దేవీ దేవతాభ్యో నమః. మహిళామణులకు, వేదికను అలంకరించిన మూర్తులకు, మహిళామణులకు, కవితా పిపాసకులకు, రసజ్ఞులకు, ఉత్తేజులకు అందరికీ నా అనేక శుభాభినందన వందనాలు అందజేసి సమర్పిస్తూ ఆత్రేయ శర్మ గారికి, ప్రజ్ఞా భారతికి కృతజ్ఞతలు అందజేస్తూ నా ఈ కవితను మీ ముందు ఉంచుతున్నా. ఎందుకంటే పూలన్నీ రేకులు దారి నిండా పరచి నా కోసం చూస్తున్నాయి, కానీ నేను వాటి మీద అడుగు వేయకుండా దారి చూసుకుని నడుస్తున్నా. ఎందుకంటే అవన్నీ వాటి హృదయ కమలపు రేకులేగా. వాటి గుండెల మీద పాదం మోపాలనిపించటం లేదు. వాటిని నా ఎదకు హత్తుకొని స్పృశించాలని ఉంది. అంజలి పట్టి నమస్సులుగా సమర్పించాలని ఉంది. పూలన్నీ తేనె చుక్కల్ని నా మీద రాల్చాలనుకున్నాయి. కానీ నేను వాటిని నా దోసిల నిండా పట్టి మెల్లగా మెల్లమెల్లగా గూడులో ఒదిగిన పిల్లపిట్టల నోటికి అందించాలనుకున్నా. ఎందుకంటే వాటి కలకుజితాలేగా రాగోదయాన్ని సూచిస్తున్నది. వాటి కిచకిచ ధ్వనులేగా సుప్రభాతాన్ని పలుకుతున్నది. వాటి ఎదురుచూపులేగా నిత్యం నూతనత్వాన్ని ప్రసాదించేది. నదులన్నీ నీటి బొట్లు నాపై విరజిమ్మాలనుకున్నాయి. కానీ నేను వాటి దిక్కుల్ని మరల్చి వాడిన మొలకలపై చిలకరించాలనుకున్నా. ఎందుకంటే ఆ మొలకల పిలుపులతోనే కదా పుడమి పులకరించేది. అవేగా వాటిని ఆనంద బాష్పాలుగా రాల్చేది. వాటి చల్లదనమేగా మనసుకు హాయినిచ్చేది. ఈ గాలివాటు తుంపరలేగా చిరునవ్వులు పంపింది నా కోసం. ఆకాశం అందాల మామ చందమామని పంపింది నా కోసం. అందరాని పదంలో చుక్కల ముగ్గులేసి ఆహ్వానించింది. కానీ నేను ఆ చుక్కల పందిరికి మబ్బు దారాలతో చాందిని కట్టి భూదేవికి పచ్చని పచ్చలుగా కీర్తి కిరీటంలో పొదగాలనుకున్నా. ఎందుకంటే మెరిసే కన్నుల కాంతులను చుక్కల వెలుగులుగా దిద్దాను. వాటి కాంతిలో విరబోసిన పాపాయిల బోసినవులేగా పాటల జోలల తూగులతో ఊయలలోగుతున్నది. భూమంతా అరుగు వేసి నన్ను కూర్చోమంటోంది. కానీ నేను దాని మీద కూర్చోకుండా నిత్య కళ్యాణం పచ్చతోరణం చేయాలనుకుంటున్నా. ఎందుకంటే ఆ అరుగులన్నీ అందాల రంగవల్లులు పరుచుకొని అవన్నీ ఎత్తుగా నిలిచింది నిత్యం లోక కళ్యాణం కోసమేగా. వాటి మీద సీతారాముల కళ్యాణాలేగా కనువిందు చేస్తున్నాయి. వాటిపైన శ్రీనివాసుని కమనీయ వేడుకలేగా జరుగుతున్నాయి. జగన్మాత పద్మావతి పరిణయోత్సవాలేగా విరాజిల్లుతున్నాయి. జగద్ధాత్రి జగదీశ్వరి మహోత్సవాలేగా బాసిల్లుతున్నాయి. నమస్కారం.
Thank you, Satyabhama. And she was or is still a staunch disciple of Padma Shri Ashavadi Prakash Rao garu. And yes, exactly. And by the way, Ashavadi Prakash Rao was given our Pragna award also. And okay about that. Now, yes, P.S. Sharma garu, he would be speaking for a minute or so. And now we will be having a tea break. Immediately after the tea break, there would be the main session, which is focused on Dr. Hrushikesh Pandaji. And my humble request, my appeal to all of you is that none of you please go away from the meeting. Let us begin the meeting so that the inputs from that meeting can spark off some inputs for our further poetry also. So the presence of poets is must in the next session also. Now B.S. Sharma garu.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. నా పేరు బిఎస్ శర్మ. ఒక మందుల కంపెనీలో మెడికల్ రిప్రజెంటేటివ్గా పనిచేసి రిటైర్ అయ్యాను. 5 పుస్తకాలు రాశాను. ప్రజ్ఞా భారతికి వన్ ఆఫ్ ది వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్స్. ప్రజ్ఞా ప్రవాహకి క్షేత్ర సహ సంయోజక ఏపీ తెలంగాణ కర్ణాటక ఇన్ఛార్జ్గా ఉంటున్నాను. ఇందాక నుంచి మీరు హైకూలు అలాంటివి చదువుతుంటే నాకు చిన్నప్పుడు చదువుకున్న 2 పద్యాలు గుర్తొచ్చాయి. The woodcutter's axe asked the tree for its handle. The tree gave it. Ante. The sparrow is sorry for the peacock for its heavy tail. Ante. ఠాగూర్ రాశారు, రవీంద్రనాథ్ ఠాగూర్. స్ట్రే బర్డ్స్ అని ఒక పుస్తకం, అందులో ఇలాంటివి చాలా ఉంటాయి. నేను ఇక్కడ నేను కవిని కాదు, ఎప్పుడు కవిత్వం రాయలేదు. ఆత్రేయ శర్మ గారు రాసిన ఇంగ్లీష్ కవితల్ని తెలుగులో చేశాను, ఆ అనుభవం ఉంది నాకు. ఇప్పుడు కూర్చుని చిన్న కవిత రాశాను. కవిత అంటారో దాన్ని ఏమంటారో తెలియదు. దాని పేరు అరే భాయ్ జర దేఖే చెలో. గ్లాసులో సగం ఖాళీ అంటాడు ఒకడు, కొంచెం కిందకి చూడడం రాదు కనుక. దీపం కింద అంతా చీకటి అంటాడు ఒకడు, కొంచెం పైకి చూడడం రాదు కనుక. అమావాస్య నాడు ఆకాశం చూసి చంద్రుడు లేడని ఏడుస్తాడు ఒకడు, వందలాది చుక్కలని నిశితంగా చూడడం రాదు కనుక. లోకమంతా చిమ్మ చీకటి అని వగుస్తాడు ఒకడు, దీపం వెలిగించడం రాదు కనుక. ధన్యవాదాలు.
Sharma garu, you have given a wonderful finish to this poetry session, sir. You know, you have asserted the importance of looking positively. You know, it almost looks like one of those, what do we say, that motivational sessions. Thank you very much.
కవిత రాసింది కూడా వైఎల్ గారి కామెంట్స్ కోసం. హైలైట్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ షో.
Okay. So YL means YL because you can sing in levity. So let us now conclude it.
Namaste Andy. We see a lot of literary experts here and very enthusiastic irrespective of age. Pragna Bharati నుంచి మా రిక్వెస్ట్ ఏంటంటే మీరు బుక్స్ చదవండి, బుక్స్ ఆఫ్ నేషనల్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ చదివితే కనుక దానికి రివ్యూస్ రాయండి, రాస్తే కనుక మన మ్యాగజైన్ ఉంది, యూ కెన్ కాంట్రిబ్యూట్ టు దాట్. మూవీస్ కానీ ఎనీవేర్ యూ ఫైండ్ ఇష్యూస్ దట్ యూ వుడ్ లైక్ టు షేర్ విచ్ ఆర్ ఆఫ్ కల్చరల్ నేషనల్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్, ప్లీజ్ షేర్ ఇట్ విత్ అస్. రెండోది, we are creating we have units across the state, Telugu states. We want we have a physical magazine also. We also have social media presence across all the platforms. Important ఏంటంటే మీరు బుక్స్ కనుక మీరు రాస్తే కనుక ప్లీజ్ కాంట్రిబ్యూట్. యూ రైట్ బుక్స్, వీఆర్ విల్లింగ్ టు సపోర్ట్ యూ. మోర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్లీ, లాట్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ రైట్ బుక్స్, దాన్ని మీరు సపోర్ట్ చేయాలి, రివ్యూస్ చేసి కానీ దాని గురించి మాట్లాడి కానీ. మేము అక్రాస్ ద స్టేట్ వీఆర్ క్రియేటింగ్ దీస్ లిటరీ క్లబ్స్ అనుకోండి. మీరు వెళ్ళి ఒకవేళ మీరు ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ విల్లింగ్ టు ట్రావెల్, విల్ సపోర్ట్ యూ. ప్లీజ్ గో అక్రాస్ ద స్టేట్ అండ్ హెల్ప్ అస్ స్ప్రెడ్ ద గుడ్ వర్డ్. ఫైనల్గా ట్రాన్స్లేషన్స్ కనుక మీరు చేయగలిగితే, ఇంగ్లీష్ నుంచి తెలుగు కానీ, తెలుగు నుంచి ఇంగ్లీష్ కానీ, లేదా వేరే లాంగ్వేజ్ నుంచి తెలుగు కానీ, బుక్స్ ఆఫ్ నేషనల్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్, అగైన్ మీకు తెలిసిన మా దగ్గర చాలా బుక్స్ ఉంటాయి, వాటిని కానీ మీరు కనుక ఇంట్రెస్ట్ తీసుకుని చేయగలిగితే ప్లీజ్ కమ్ ఫార్వర్డ్. వీఆర్ విల్లింగ్ టు వర్క్ విత్ యూ. వీ నీడ్ యువర్ సపోర్ట్. ఓకే, రైట్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Really, this is the most important announcement by Srinivas. And now before we conclude, my thanks to each and everyone who has come here, whether poets or non-poets, everyone. And I have to acknowledge one thing here. I am 79 years of age, but 3 years senior to me is my classmate here. She is a very prolific writer and she has done her PhD in Telugu. She is Dr. Dittakavi Shyamala Devi. And her parental surname is Chiruvolu. Chiruvolu Pardasarthi Gari is there, isn't it? And she has come here in spite of some small issues for her health. She has decided to come here. Though she can read out her poem, she said, no, I want to be a very good listener here. So hats off to you, Shyamala. You want to come here? Yeah, please come. Please. If any one of you wants to make some comments or suggestions, you are welcome, but please be brief.
వెన్నెల గారు కదా. జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి. పెద్దలకు నమస్కారం. అందరూ పెద్దల వాళ్ళే, నేను చిన్నవాడిని. నా పేరు కంచర్ల వెంకటరమణ. కంచర్ల గోపన్న గారు అని పేరు ఎక్కడైనా విన్నారా మీరు? రాములు వారు కటాక్షించిన తర్వాత శ్రీ భక్త రామదాస్ గారు అయ్యారు వారు. అలాంటి పరంపరలో నేను పుట్టడం నా అదృష్టం. నేను 11వ తరం. సో నాకు ఒక 12 ఏళ్ల క్రితం హనుమంతుల వారు ఒక బ్రాహ్మణ రూపంలో కనపడ్డవారు. అప్పటి నుంచే అందరూ జై శ్రీరామ్ రమణ అంటారు. ఆయన పేరు శ్రీ భక్త రామదాస్ గారు అని ఎట్లా అంటారో నన్ను జై శ్రీరామ్ రమణ అంటారు. సో ప్రతి కార్యక్రమం హనుమాన్ చాలీసాలకు కానీ, రామాలయాలు కళ్యాణాలకు కానీ, అలాగే ఇలా
రైటర్స్ అసోసియేషన్స్ వాళ్ళు కాదు, దాంట్లో ఫిలిం దాంట్లో ఐఎమ్ ఆల్సో వన్ ఆఫ్ ది యాక్టివ్ మెంబర్. అలాగే 60% ఆఫ్ దాట్ నేను ఆఫీస్ పని చేసుకుంటూ ఉంటాను. చేస్తూ కలవాలని ఆతురత, 10 మందిని కలవాలని భావంతో 10 మందిని కలవటం. శర్మ గారు మాకు బాగా తెలుసు. బిన్ గారు దగ్గరికి వాళ్ళ ఇంటికి వెళ్ళటం, శర్మ గారిని కూడా కలవటం అనేది జరిగింది. సో మీరు చేసే కార్యక్రమాలు ఇప్పుడు శ్రీభక్త రామరాసు గారు ఎంత ప్రత్యేకతగా పాటలు పాడి స్వామివారి ఐక్యంలో చేరారు. రైటర్స్ ద్వారా స్వామివారి సన్నిధికి వెళ్ళొచ్చు. అంటే అవి 65, 64 కళలు అంటారు. వాటిల్లో ఇవన్నీ ఒక టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఎరైట్ అనమాట. అలాగే నేను ఆధ్యాత్మికంగా సేవలు చేస్తూ ఉంటాను, 10 మంది చేత చేసేయడం అనుకుంటాను. నాకు రఘు గారు బాగా తెలుసు. ఒక 2017, 2018 నుంచి ఇక్కడికి రావటం అనేది జరుగుతుంది. ప్రజ్ఞా భారతి అని సెప్టెంబర్ 17న కార్యక్రమం చేస్తారు గ్రాండ్గా. సో ఆ పరంగా 10 మందిని కలవటం అనేది నాకు అదృష్టం. అలాంటి మీలాంటి వాళ్ళని కలవటం నా అదృష్టం. జై శ్రీరామ్. జై శ్రీరామ్.
చాలా సంతోషం అండి, చాలా కమనీయంగా ఉంది. ఆ ఖమ్మం భద్రాచలం రాముడి గురించి తలుచుకున్నట్లయితే ఇక ఒక ముఖ్యమైన వ్యక్తి గురించి పరిచయం చేయాలండి. మీరు ఎటువంటి కార్యక్రమాలైనా సరే మా స్థలంలో వచ్చి పెట్టుకోవచ్చు, నేను పైసా తీసుకోనంటారు ఒక వ్యక్తి. ఎన్నో కార్యక్రమాలకు మేము వెళ్ళాము. అక్కడ వైకే యాంటీక్స్ అని చెప్పేసి మనకి ఎక్కడండి అది, ఆల్వాల్ ఏరియా ఏమంటాం, అది లోతుకుంట దగ్గర ఉంది ఆయన. హీ వర్క్డ్ ఇన్ బాంబే అండ్ ఆల్ దాట్. వాట్ హీ థాట్ వాజ్, వీఆర్ లివింగ్ బికాస్ వీఆర్ ఈటింగ్ ఫుడ్. వీఆర్ ఈటింగ్ ఫుడ్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద యుటెన్సిల్స్ రైట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద medieval times. I should collect all of them and create a museum. And now that is his own YK. He is Yenugu Krishnamurti. So from the lineage of that great poet Yenugu Krishnamurti, and really so many meetings have been held at his place, and we can also hold the meetings. And he is very humble. Though he is a very good poet, he said, no, I do not want to enter this space because there are too many poets who speak so much. That is what he said. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, thanks, Andy. Vail Garu, thank you so much. And thanks to each one of you. Is wonderful poems. Kocham కొత్త వాళ్ళు మాలాంటి వాళ్ళకి పరిచయం చేసినందుకు ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ థ్యాంక్ యూ. We'll have a tea break. We'll break for 15 minutes and come back and assemble for the main session again. Okay? Namaste.
our eyes is Dr. Hrushikesh Pandaji, as all of us know. And really hats off to him for his patience. Yesterday he landed here by flight, and from Begumpet he had to come here. In spite of some minor issues in his health, he has agreed to be the chief guest here. And now, no, question answers. Yes, that's all, isn't it? Sure. And dear friends, you have seen that face to face with Hrushikesh Pandaji. So it is a kind of a panel interview of him. Some 2 or 3 people would be there on the dais here, and they will be asking him questions so as to bring out the extract and essence and quintessence of his life, work, culture, and whatnot. And Dr. Y.L. Srinivas, the Vice Chancellor of the Tribal University, he is the main dignitary here. And next, I am inviting Kavita, with her engineering background, but right now she is getting into doing PhD. She is also a dignitary here. Please.
Also, please. Bharati and Japan. She is associated with Bharati organization.
Okay. And Kavita is associated with Bruhat, a social welfare organization. And you see, she lived abroad for many years, but see her attire. She is rooted in our culture. We say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means we see the entire world as one. Perhaps ours is the only Indic philosophy in our country that says that to promote that, certainly we have to go abroad, stay there, educate ourselves, and learn the good things from them, and come back to our country to develop our country. But not all of them should come back. Some people should stay there, and democratically, in an objective manner, we have to talk of the goodness of our culture, because ours is very harmonious culture, eclectic culture. And Kavita is a part of that.
We should develop those countries also.
Exactly. Because yes, global village we say, means every part of the globe, we feel it is our own, and they are our own kith and kin, we are also their own kith and kin, including nature. And friends, Dr. Hrushikesh Pandaji, he has written number of books in Odia literature, though he is a PhD in English, because he is well rooted to his native culture. And those books have been translated into multiple languages in India, including Tamil, Hindi, and so many things. And Dr. Swati Sripada, who read out her poem, she translated 2 of his works recently in Telugu. And this is a novel, Aparacha Suryastamayanloki, and it is a collection of short stories, isn't it? And as I said, the English works have been translated by Dr. Lipi Pushpa Nayak, right? Now, instead of giving him the podium totally and ask him to deliver a long lecture, what he and we also prefer is that out of inquisitiveness, we have to pose him some questions so as to bring out the essence of his life and work. That's all. Okay. Now, and anyone else here, they want to be a dignitary in the panel of the interviewers? Okay. Now the program goes on, and I hand over the mic to Dr. Y.L. Yes, you see, very brief introduction of him. Dr. Hrushikesh Pandaji was 1979 IAS topper in the entire country. And his basic degree is MSc in nuclear chemistry. And he did PhD in English literature. And took an MBA from Australia. And so many things like that. And one of my writer friends, I mentioned him to her, and she said, yes, he was my batchmate, but how is he looking a bit differently now? I attended a meeting in Bhubaneswar a few months ago, so then I came to know about him. She is Vandana Kumari Jana. She is also IAS, And she also retired from the union government. I reviewed a number of her works, and he said he's a great person and all that. So we have such legends in our country, irrespective of the hierarchy and all that. So the life and work of Dr. Hrushikesh Pandaji, from the very important aspects we have to bring out. That's why there are erudite people like Kavita and Srinivas here. And once that is over, any of the audience also are open to ask questions, right?
Can I suggest? I mean, there'd be.
I think there should be no caste system between there and here. We can have a few questions together, so that I can kind of join them and make some kind of a speech.
So friends, in this session, we have a guest of honor, Dr. Lipi Pushpa Nayak. Please come here. Lipi, come here. No. Yes, please. And Dr. Lipi's voice would be the most authentic one here to give an introduction of Dr. Hrushikesh Pandaji.
Did you forget me? No. Okay. And go there and talk from there. Okay. So I'll be given how much time? 5 minutes?
5 minutes, yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, all of you. Since there will be an interaction session with the author himself, I don't need to elaborate on that. I will just bring your attention to two books or two points about his writings. Very briefly, first of all, he's a very original thinker. So since I know him for the last 45 years, first as a child and then as an adult who pursued English literature, writings, translation, and all those activities, I know the way he thinks. He's a very original thinker, and he's very proud of his state and the Indian civilization. If somebody says that Rig Vedas are written 1500 BC, around 1500 BC, his research will say that no, it's much before. Linguistic evidence, epigraphic evidence, all those issues go there. So he's a very original thinker. So all his writings are very different from each other. Not a single story repeats itself. Not a single theme, not a single style repeats itself. Then his concerns, his social concerns, or his civilizational concerns. First it used to be social concerns, now it has expanded to civilizational concerns. How old is India? How ancient is India? Why is India, or Odisha for that matter, India is progressing, India is developing, but Odisha at the present point in time is not the Odisha that we expected to see. Okay, we are not very happy about the state of matters. Now, he is the one who first questioned, why is Odisha so poor? Why is Odisha not taken? Are you from Bengali? People will ask me when I travel. Are you from Assam? Are you from Bengali? There is a state in between Bengal and Assam, that is Odisha. So, these kind of questions. So now, he is the first person who started asking, why is Odisha the way it is now? And that is the culmination of that concern culminated in a novel called Garba Karibara Katha. Let's be proud. Because till 17th century, Odisha was among the most prosperous states in India, with its maritime tradition, with its righteousness, with its kind of, values, moral values. We were not flaunting our riches. We were not flaunting our maritime prosperity. We are not flaunting our what is it called? Martial arts techniques. We were all, and our temple architecture, our literature, we were full of all that. We were not flaunting it. But till 17th century, we were the most prosperous state in India. But suddenly in these last 100, 200 years, why have we become like this? Now this is the question he was the first one in Odisha to ask and write a novel, a voluminous novel. And that question, and then in that novel he is asking history. The history has been written wrongly. Okay, so now this questioning of history, again it's a very original idea which he started at least 20, 30 years ago. And I will give you two examples to validate why he is an original thinker. I have now read two books, one by an Australian author. The book is titled Narrow Road Down South. It's about the Second World War. The Japanese, the POWs, prisoners of wars, were the Australian prisoners of wars. The writer is an Australian. His father was among the POWs, and how they were being tortured by the Japanese. If we are acquainted with the World War II history, we all will know about this. So how we all know that Japanese are very nice people, Zen Buddhism, this, that, haiku, all that is fine. But at that point of time, the torture that the Japanese people unleashed on the POWs is the theme of that book. And that fellow is asking, that Australian writer is asking, where are we? Where is my father in that history? Who sacrificed, who went through all that torture? History has to be rewritten. Okay, so now that point also said, here is an author who is world class, who is also asking the same question. But that book came out thanks to that book came out much after this Odia book came out. And now, last year's Nobel Prize winner, this Hungarian, okay, now I'm reading a book by him. Now, I usually keep track of what is being written outside India, usually. So I'm reading his book. Now, this Hungarian kind of historian, he is in China. He is on a trip to China to find out China of yore, China that was known for its silk, whatever, all those good things. So China in the wake of colonialism, neo-colonialism, opening of open economy. So he's trying to find out China in the book. It's set in 2000, and he's trying to explore. He's trying to see real China in an open economic. Global economic scenario. Again, this author, Dr. Hrushikesh Panda, has written a book in 1994 called Subarna Deepa, which again Swati has been kind enough to translate. Swarna Deepam. That again is about the same thing. Where is India in the wake of globalization? So these are the thoughts. These are the thoughts which make him actually a global writer. According to me, I am not boasting. I'm just sharing with you the kind of stuff he writes. And if you read the books, you will know that he is an original writer. And Swati herself has told me these are very different stories. This is a very different novel. She tells me that I cry with the characters. And I am a translator. I have translated most of my writers, good writers in Odisha. I go for classics. I translate mostly classics. I have translated a 16th century text narrative, Lakshmi Purana. I have translated 17th century fiction, 17th century when Odia language was in parts. I mean, it had a very different idiom. So I translated it for my PhD. I have translated mostly the writers who really I feel like translating. I don't go for names. I don't go. Obviously, I have not got any award. But I have translated 17 Odia books to English. I have translated many young writers in whom I see promise. And I thank Atreya. I thank Pragna, Bharati. I thank Swati. I am thankful that I met Paddy. And I'm thankful to all of you for this honor. Thank you. Namaskar.
Just a moment. This is a kind of family gathering here.
Did I mention you? I thanked you.
And you see,
I forgot.
You already did that initially itself. She is my sister, and she said, "Why from Orissa I have come here? You have not invited me onto the dais." Here I have written, Session 2, Dr. Lipi Pushpanayak, guest of honor. Right?
Now, hand over the podium to Srinivas.
First of all, this is a kind of interaction.
The first half of this session is interaction with him. And immediately after that, launch of the 2 books.
So my suggestion to the audience here is that, you have a very comprehensive and elaborate, introduction of the writer by, Dr. Lipi Pushpa Nayak. In fact, that has summarized the whole thing. The writer, in fact, I haven't read these books. I have just just glancing through these books. And what I understand is, he was able to, in fact, foreground all complexities of Indian society. He was a bureaucrat with all his experience. He was the one who had seen society very closely. So he did not really mince words about, foregrounding the anomalies of the Indian society. He wrote on corruption, wrote on discrimination, wrote on poverty, wrote on, comes from, Orissa, therefore, obvious that he wrote on poverty and a number of other things. Alongside, going by what Dr. Pushpa tells us is that, he also, has been a very concerned about the history and how history is, was manipulated, and how history becomes, in fact, a tool for multiple manipulations, and of course, the need to kind of write the right history. So, in fact, what we see here is, this Oriya literature, we are all new because, at least I am new. I have a friend of mine who works in Hyderabad Central University, Siddharth Satpathy, who had done his PhD from Chicago University, in fact, O-grade PhD scholar, works very closely with us. And in fact, in the recent past only, we started, evincing interest in Oriya literature because he wrote a wonderful paper which is published by Cambridge University Press, on the interface of English and then Orient languages during 19th century. And when I was reading that, paper, in fact, I came to kind of understand, was introduced to the depth of Orient literature. So I will certainly take these 3 books home and read them. And I have seen the translation of Madam Swati Sripada. And in fact, one book is very curious, where you have the original writing is in Oriya, translated into English by, Madam Nayak, and then again translated from English into Telugu by, Sripada Swati. And I would want to actually see and research how the transition had taken place from Oriya into English. And for Madam Sripada, English book is the basis. Although, she herself says she was in, Orissa for 7 years or whatever. But, English book is the base for Telugu translation. So what was intended in, in Oriya and then later emerged in Telugu, I would want to, very curiously study. Because one of our, mentor, mentor to me personally, and then familiar to both Dr. Sridevi and then Sindur. Both of them are here. Chaganti Vijayashri and Professor Tadakamala Vijay Kumar. They translated Kanya Shulkam into English. And then when they translated Kanya Shulkam into English, I know what happened, thereafter. So many articles in Andhra Jyoti that, condemning both of them. They don't know this, they don't know the word they translated this way, that way. And we had to request Ramchandra Murthy Garu, the then editor of Andhra Jyoti, senior journalist and a veteran, requested Ramchandra Murthy Garu to give us space in Andhra Jyoti to give a rejoinder. And both Professor Vijayashri and then Vijay Kumar, they drafted a rejoinder. And of course, he very kind enough to publish that. Why am I talking about this is I understand, the travails of translation, how difficult it is to translate. So this is very curious for me that a book is originally in Oriya, translated into English, then was translated into Telugu is something very curious. I will certainly go into that. Thank you for this opportunity. And then I hand over the session for the Q&A, and then look forward to listening to, Dr. Panda. Thank you very much.
Namaste. Thank you for this opportunity, Pragna Bharati, and welcome. Dr. Panda has been sitting here very patiently. అదే నేనైతే ఇంకా కదులుతూ వెళ్తూ లైక్ హీస్ బీన్ వెరీ వెరీ అటెంటివ్ లిస్నింగ్ టు ఆల్ యువర్ పోయిట్రీ. సో థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి. మై క్వశ్చన్ ఈజ్ యాజ్ అ లే పర్సన్. It's a group of questions, but it will help you maybe to answer it together. I was outside looking at the books. My felicity is with English, unfortunately. I studied in KV, so second most felicity is with Hindi. Telugu na matrubhasha, kani nemmadiga chavutanu. So I was looking at them and asking Raghu garu and Srinivas garu, which book should I buy which will be easier for me to read? So I'm going to ask you, there are 3 books. Could you please explain what the books are about? And if you wanted to talk a little bit about what made you write them in terms of what was the process. Are they fiction? Are they a collection of your experiences? Historical fiction? So what is the process? What are they about? And how would you maybe convince me to buy one of them? One of the questions I had as a writer, sales pitch, but as a writer, I do dabble in short stories, is that what Raji Malhotra ji calls as Sanskrit non-translatables. I'm sure Odia culture has certain ideas which are not possible to be translated, let's say if it's in English. So not just as a language, as a translation, but the idea itself. Do you leave the words in Odia as is? The concepts, do you explain in English or have you explained them in Odia? How do you bring it across to the reader who is a non-Odia person, if they are included in your book? So that would be my personal question. But otherwise, which book should I buy? So I would love to know more about the books. I was curious about how you transition suddenly from nuclear chemistry to MA literature. When I was looking at your bio, I was like, wow, nuclear chemistry kiya, phir suddenly literature. I was like, very similar. Okay. So these are the questions. Thank you so much. Yes. Should I?
Any question? Please. Anything else?
Anything else that you want to add? Any other question?
And Dr. Srinivas himself.
Yes.
I think she has asked all the essential questions. That's what I feel.
Ma'am, you have asked all the important questions. That is what I feel.
Once he speaks, I think I'll.
Yeah. And good.
You have to hear them. I've been
Yes.
for an hour.
Yeah. Good number of
Just one
questions.
small question.
Yeah, sure.
So when you read the English translation of your own works in Odia, do you always feel something is, as they use the expression, lost in translation? So if you could throw some light on that as well. Thank you.
And Pandaji, he would be integrating all his answers to all these questions. And anyone else wants to raise any question? Okay.
I do have, since ma'am said I have a lot of questions, but maybe this one. Any of your books you feel can be made into a film or a TV series, or because youngsters nowadays watch more than they read. So if you feel that your ideas which are about Bharat, which are about our civilization, Samskruti, how should it be translated? And while I have the mic, let me say Jai Jagannath. I'm a big fan of Odia culture. Jai Jagannath. Katak filigree and the food. So I'm all for Odia cooks who made the Rasgulla. So I'm with you on the GI. So
And next, another thing is, this is a very great opportunity, and there are very good number of translators and writers here. A single person can't translate all the works in our country, isn't it? And there is one, Dr. Chiruvolu Parthasarathy, please stand up. He is one of the prominent writers, both in English as well as Telugu, and his services also can be utilized like that. Anyone else?
I have a friend actually from Australia, Sridhar Subramanyam, who's very keen on actually coming in to Pragna Bharati. In fact, our efforts are to see that he starts a chapter of Pragna Bharati in Melbourne to start with. We'll also get into Sydney and Brisbane and other cities. He wanted to, he was a past Secunderabad resident here. He knows Telugu, Tamil and English. He would like to do translations in multiple languages. Now, if there is one Oriya book, he would try and then get it translated into Telugu and also into English. That's one opportunity. Then one question which I wanted to put here is, when you're translating a text from Oriya to English or to Telugu, just like a photocopier reducing the intensity of a copy, its resolution, do you think the original, Oriya themes get carried in the translation in a proper way? How do you ensure that? Probably it's a repetition of a question. Dilution of it. That's what I would like to say. Reduction of the resolution, the objective is probably lessened. Or in case you find that something is getting thinned, how did you make it up by adding certain things, substances which could enhance or maintain the same thing? Thanks a lot.
Hello, sir. There are extensive theories on translation that we do in our classrooms. And Tagore says that it should be transcreation, and the soul of the original text must be carried to the translated work. So, what are your thoughts on this? Thank you.
Hello. So, how because her question should take the full session time. So, but see, about translation, I'll state a few facts. You mentioned about Chaganti Tulsi. Did you mention her name?
Chaganti Tulsi. Chaganti is common, but this is Videshi.
Okay, so Chaganti Tulsi knows both Odia and Telugu. She was working in Odisha for a long time as a teacher, as a college teacher. She has translated me one of my plays, Brahma Rakshas, from Odia to Telugu directly. Now, Brahma Rakshas is a play which had an interesting journey. I have written only 4 plays, and that is one of them. Suddenly, there was the Sahitya Academy was doing something called contemporary modern classics, and they had chosen among plays which were written in over the last 50 years, the previous 50 years. And by then, Dr. Lipi Puspa had translated it into English, and she was looking for a publisher. So somehow this offer came, saying 50 years of selection of modern classics. 3 books were selected, And surprisingly, one of them was Brahma Rakshash. So since the English translation was available, it was published by Sahitya Academy. Dr. Tulsi's Telugu translation was also published by Sahitya Academy. Later, later from Pondicherry, Professor P. Raja, Professor P. Raja, he translated into Tamil with the help of probably the Telugu thing, but it has been, and now Bengali, when it was translated into Bengali, this another translator, she's also from English, Rita Nath Keshri, Dr. Rita Nath Keshri. She was also a professor of English in Pondicherry University. She learned Odia. And under inspiration from her father, I think. Her father said, "Why don't you learn Odia? It's so easy." And she learned Odia and she translated into Odia and published it in Bengali. So that is one way of these multiple levels of translation, which has happened. Hindi, of course, from Odia to Hindi translation, there are many people who have done this. Subarnadipa, which is included here, that Swarnadip, that's also available in Hindi, translated directly from, that has gone out of print. It is gone. Unfortunately, my books are sell so fast, even the Hindi version of the play. In fact, none of the versions of the play in translation are available now. They've all sold out. And gold.
Marathi is going on.
It's a new one which is coming up, Marathi. But most of my books, they go out of print. Though those who have read even the Telugu translation would have realized that I am not an easy writer. I am not, because one of the things which Dr. Atre, you may find me repeating certain things I'd said in the Bhubaneswar seminar, because that will be relevant to answer that question. While I wrote, it's like you may be studying science, but you can still be a writer, and that writing you do quietly, being a science student, and of course. But I had enough grace from my fate or karma or my ancestors that I didn't have to study much. So I used to write quietly even from my college days. And some of those things have crept into my subsequent writing. I started publishing in 1980 short stories. And I was taken aback by when the story came out, when the story started getting published, I didn't expect readers. I didn't expect anyone who will understand me. But I went ahead writing whatever I wanted to write. I finished it whenever I decided to finish it. I didn't show my manuscripts to anyone. I just sent it to the publisher, which I still do. Same practice. Same practice I follow. But it was amazing that I started getting a lot of requests for short stories those days. Then the short story book came out. I had given it the title Bahare Chida Hoitiba Loko, which means the the person standing outside. I don't think it has nothing to do with Camus' Outsider. It has nothing to do with that. It was just it was a simple narration of a man who is standing in front of somebody's house. That was and what is going on between the man standing outside the house and the man in somebody's man or family. In fact, one of my batchmates said, "Why, you have written about my wife." So I said, no, I have not even met your wife. And so that's, but that book was published despite its title, Bahare Chidai, the man standing outside. After a year, the publisher came to me, very famous publisher, Friends Publishers. He was number one, number two kind of publisher. He came to me and said, the book has sold out. I said, what? In 1 year? Short story collection in 1 year getting sold out in Odisha? A book which I thought, stories which I thought nobody reads. Then at that time I started writing a novel. That was partly about my childhood and partly about people who were thrown up unemployed because of very stupid kinds of, very silly kinds of corruption, and so I started writing it. So I stopped writing short stories those days, and then I went to the best publisher in Odisha and gave it to him. And the title of that novel was Sun Sange Samoyika Sandhi, A Temporary Truce with Zero. A Temporary Truce with Zero. That was the title of the book. And he read it. He was a little cynical, a little critical, but he published it. It had, and my language was very different from the way people were writing, others were writing. And I didn't like that kind of hackneyed, that kind of repetitive. And the repetition is one thing which I've hated in both in my academic life, in my official life, and in my writing life. I hate repeating a sentence. So this publisher, he came with a check to me after 1.5 years of publication, and gave it to me. I said, "What is this?" He said, "Your book has sold out. This is the royalty. I have come to you for the second edition." That was something. So that made me. So despite being a difficult writer, I had a readership which made me write, and I moved on. I never went back to the topics again. I mean, I didn't feel like writing the same thing again and again. What was happening is that I was born in a remote part. If you have heard of Kalahandi, in a small town of Kalahandi, I was born. Koraput, you must have heard, of course. And I passed my matriculation from the government high school, Koraput. I passed MSc from Utkal University. I took the IAS examination. A lot of banking things were mentioned. So I applied for those days. I had a lot of personal problem. My father suddenly died, and suddenly I was on the streets almost. Although we had a lot of ancestral land, they didn't give us land. The usual stories of India. And I went through a very bad patch, which made me see many things in life which I never expected to see, because I was otherwise. So that exposure also made me a very different kind of person. So I started applying for jobs at one stage after. So one day, finally when the job, suddenly in a matter of 1 or 2 days, my uncle's address I had given, my mama's address I had given in all those applications. So I had 6 bank jobs. They had 7 appointments. 6 bank jobs as probationary officer, and 1 job as executive or management trainee in Steel Authority of India Limited. So I chose Steel Authority of India Limited. You know why? Because whenever I counted money, I made mistakes. And those days, the bank probationary officers were also made cashiers for. No, in those days, they were made cashiers for 6 months. Cash, okay. They called cash officers, but they were cashiers. Yes. And so accounting, I said, at this rate, I'll never get my salary. So I took to this job. Then of course.
Sorry to interrupt. At home guard jobs,
Please tell me.
I also registered during those hard days. I had registered as with the employment exchange. I only got one intimation from them. This was for, I had done my MSc, and this was the only intimation which came was for the job of head constable from the space office. So I was planning to go, but then of course my eyesight was probably above their limit. So anyway, that was. So coming back to these questions of language, as I said, I didn't like the language mostly. I mean, Ramakanta was writing poetry. I mean, I liked his language. That was a different idiom. I wrote my language because of this moving across 10 schools and 3 colleges and moving across Odisha. So that was also all adding up to the language, which made my language very different. And I had been asked in Bhubaneswar in that workshop where Dr. Atreya was there, which novelist did you follow? They asked me. I said, there are 2 famous novelists, prolific novelists. Prolific is a word you have used for me, but I'll just explain that. I am not a prolific writer. But anyway, there are 2 prolific writers. They'd each written about 50, more than 50, and I think almost 100 books one of them has written, novels. So one person was writing, most of his themes were about women who had fallen in love before marriage. The other writer was writing exactly. The other writer, most of his books were about women falling in love with someone else after marriage. I said, I don't think I can write like. Much later, I realized people were sick of those books, and that's why some of them were buying my books. That is this question of history getting translated appropriately. One thing is that since my words were chosen very accurately, I mean, chosen quite accurately, translation also is generally accurate. The problem in translating from an Indian language to Indian language is not difficult, because I think with Dr. Tulsi also, when she was translating Brahma Rakasa, she had met me once and we had clarified, and that was clear. That's all. And she also knew Odia, so that was not a difficult thing. It's only in case of English that because of the distance in meaning, the meanings change inside England also, and so there, what I used to do is, whenever those texts came to me, it was basically a question of choosing the right word in English. Now, English is not a much richer word than Odia. I mean, a richer language than Odia. I mean, in terms of number of synonyms or antonyms or phrases or images. I mean, it's not much richer than India. I would not say it is richer than India at all. So, but since the language has moved across countries and there are local idioms have come up, so you do have a way of finding that apt equivalent to be. So this is my. I don't think I have lost much in translation because of course I would not because many translations translators have met me, have consulted with me before finalizing. So the dilution part of translation that you mentioned is, see, the dilution part is a question of competence, language competence mostly. I mean, either you are not competent in the language 1 or language 2, one of them. I mean, that competence you have to overtake by consultation, and nowadays, of course, Google is there, and because some translations I saw, which someone she mentioned, but I'll mention that one of my last books which was published. This question of why and how Odisha became poor, from the richest country, undoubtedly the richest state of India, from that to the one of the poorest states other than Northeast. It happened typically. See, one thing is places which were ruled by Muslims had a different kind of downfall or decline, but Odisha was never really under Muslims. Though for some strange reason, I found that every year in matriculation examination or some examination papers which come in newspapers as coaching, they always will ask, when was Odisha defeated by Muslims? I mean, when it was never defeated. Jabardast. Forcibly they will say, oh, you were defeated by. Who defeated Odisha? Some Afghan came. Afghans, after the British came, Mir Zafar, Mir Qasim, they all were finished. So some of them had sojourned into near Midnapur. Midnapur was part of Odisha those days. And then they went back. Then Akbar's Mansingh and all, they came. Mansingh threw them out. But Mansingh himself also did not, when he wanted to extend the Mughal rule to Odisha, he had a lot of personal tragedies, on which he has written that I had so many personal tragedies that I know I should not conquer Odisha. It's the land of Jagannath. The curse of Jagannath is on me because I tried to conquer Odisha. And he went back. And Odisha remained virtually independent of any foreign rule. When the British came, British also had to, by then what had happened is some foolish, I'm sorry to say, our own Gajapatis, who had been very powerful, but they did something very foolish towards the end, when they wasted money in, this going up to Vijayanagar. I mean, what did you have to do with Vijayanagar Empire? The Vijayanagar in Karnataka and Spain, they had a diplomatic relationship. Spain had by then, that's another story which I am writing now, but Spain had by then had obstructions from, they were always into gold trade. So they followed the Kalinga ships through the Pacific, going to west and touching the border of Mexico. So that way, they didn't go they didn't go to the North Pole and go. That didn't work. This was much longer, but it was a stable weather, and Pacific Ocean was from the new Pacific. It was a less tumultuous sea. That's beside the point. So anyway, the Spanish ambassador to Vijayanagar had said, if only the Kalinga king and the Vijayanagar king had made a truce, Muslims would have had no entry in South India. That's what he had written. He has written in his memoirs, which I read in original, translated into English. So it is actually when after the British came, now those things have all come out. How many famines they have caused? How many famines they have caused in India? There's a very bad famine in 1866, and that was called Nankodurvikya, the 9th year's famine. They called it the 9th year because the king of Puri at that time was running his 9th year after Coronation, after coronation. But the poor king had no administrative control. It was all given by under various people. But since the British did not want to own that name or own that famine, they blamed it on the king of Puri. It affected, but the main reason was that Odisha was the biggest exporter of rice. And Odisha rice used to go right up to West Indies, where Indian laborers had gone for feeding. But what they did with the introduction of Jamindari system, they took out every surplus from the land and did not keep anything for the contingencies of drought, flood, and cyclones. Because in a 5-year cycle, in case of paddy, which was also true of Andhra Pradesh, coastal Andhra Pradesh, in every 5 years, there will be 1 year of drought, 1 year of flood, and 3 years of more or less normal food. So it's a 5-year cycle. So people generally had to keep enough paddy and enough varieties of paddy. Now suppose a famine, suppose there is very late rainfall, you need a different kind of seed. So people used to keep, I mean, I remember even as a child, I remember in my family, who is Zamindars also, in my family they had some 60 varieties of paddy seeds, 60 varieties. Because they had seeds for famine, late rain, early rain, sudden stoppage of rain, you may have a second crop. This is the kind of complexity which governed them. Now, when you remove those zamindars and you put in outsiders, basically clerks in their courts, mostly clerks in their courts who had a lot of cash, bribe money, with which they bought zamindaris. And that was the reason of decline of Odisha. Now, what did I want to say? I think can take some part.
Very quick rejoinder to the fabulous history lesson on Odisha. You said there were no Mughal rule. That is news to me because we all know Assam was not defeated because they had the Ahom kings. I did not know that Odisha also is similar, that it had no Mughal rule, because I've been to Konark and I've seen that what I was told by the guides, that it was pillaged by some Muslim ruler. No? So can you talk about Konark a little bit maybe? And have you written about it? Because you're talking about your books.
No. I have not written much about Konark. Konark, see, there was an ancient sun temple. You know, the Kalinga flag, Kalinga part of Andhra Pradesh was also part of Kalinga, and I know. The other day I was talking to a Telugu friend who said, no, Kalinga was mainly in Andhra Pradesh. I said, okay, but mainly, that's okay. I'm not fighting with you. See, you know what Kalinga's flag was? Kalinga's flag was on a blue cloth, Surya, white Surya, silk or tussar or even cotton, Indian Odisha cotton weaving also. So there was a sun temple in Bhubaneswar, which was demolished, or which got neglected, because around 3rd, 4th century BC, Bhubaneswar started becoming Shiva's. In fact, the first temple was probably 10th century BC, first century Shiva temple. No, before Lingaraj. Lingaraj came much. In fact, beneath Lingaraj temple, there is another Shiva temple. Beneath that. So, sorry, where was I? Konark. So there was a sun temple, but sun temple was actually, there's also a reason to believe that sun temple also moved to seashore, Chandrabhaga, in line with the with the story of Krishna and then Shambho getting those, what is it called? Chow, that white patches. No, that was not leprosy, that was the other one. Leukoderma. That, so they had to have a temple. So that had to be in the east coast. Actually, one of the pyramids in Egypt has this picture depicted inside one of them. So that because people from Misr as it was called, Egypt was called Misr those days. People from Misr used to come to Puri right up to probably 1000 BC or so. That was the main relation, because there was not much commercial relationship, but this temple and coming, and then the other thing which Odisha priests had gone and done there is because their pyramids were designed on sun's movement, and sun had to move. Sun doesn't obey any simple mathematics order. It follows its own logic, and then the whole solar plane also moves. So even if you have one almanac and say this will work for eternity, it doesn't work. That's why you have called Ainangsa. You know where Ainangsa comes from, no? Ainangsa comes from because the solar plane, that is this sun and the planets, they move vis-a-vis rest of the universe at a certain speed. So earlier they used to have for shipping. Now all this knowledge comes from traveling by sea. For that, because you can't travel by sea without the stars. So when they used to travel by sea, earlier they used to have pole star, Dhruvatara, as the kind of focal point, and from there they used to draw their maps and seasons and wind charts, all those things. But they found that it didn't work. Maybe after 500 years it changes. It doesn't work. Then they discovered that, how they discovered is a mystery, but they discovered that, okay, the solar plane itself is moving vis-a-vis the pole star. So they fixed the nearest Rashi in the that is Sagittarius, Dhanu. And Dhanu is not one star. You must have known Dhanu is a group of galaxies. Each galaxy is a group of stars, and Dhanu is a group of galaxies. The only advantage of Dhanu was that it was the nearest of the galaxies among the 12 signs. It was the nearest because light took 10 years, only 10 years to come from Dhanu to the earth. So that's so where was I? So Konark temple broke probably from an engineering defect, or certainly what they stole, the British stole from there. See, I'll tell you something about junk free. There's someone from metallurgy here, metallurgy science. No, very difficult. Okay. India had developed iron, steel quality iron, quite early. Contrary to this, 100 BC, 200 BC, nonsense. This is nonsense. The Qutub Minar, which was originally a Hindu temple, the pillar in front of Puri temple, they are made of the same material, same variety of iron. It's the same variety of iron. They don't catch junk. They don't get rusted. They had found the metallurgical changes which were made by the people of Kalinga. And the chemical formula of chemistry, of course, if anyone understands. Basically what happens is if your sulfur percentage in iron is higher, then it catches rust faster. If the sulfur and magnesium, these two things, they make iron catch rust faster. If the if that is removed and the phosphorus content is increased, then it becomes rustless. It doesn't catch rust. And this is exactly the chemical composition of those irons. And if you don't believe me, you can check with the metallurgist in IIT Bhubaneswar, who is, I think he's some Panda. So anyway, that's but that's published. It's a published thing. I'm sure you can search it in print. So the British had tried to move that iron pillar. Now, how that temple, how the, you see, the complexity of the Kalinga architecture, which includes the temples which have continued to be in Andhra Pradesh also, same architecture. You know, it's a huge stone, circular stone, which is a balance between the rest of the structure. How it was lifted is still a mystery. But there have been 2-3 theories which I'll not get into now. But if somehow you tamper with that stone when it is being loaded, if you, that story which is there, no, that Dharmapada, the young 12-year-old boy, committed suicide because they could not lift it properly and install it at the top. They could not install it at the top means they must have installed it with some defect. And that's why the temple collapsed. But meanwhile, the British had taken away that pillar, rust-free pillar, from in front of Konark. And later, it is believed that one pillar they took to England and one they shifted later to Puri temple. Because Puri had another pillar. It goes on like this. I'm not getting into those ambiguous things. I'm only saying what I'm writing is only things about which I become sure. I'm not saying that say Kohile, he said this and that she said this. I don't go through that kind of history. So that's why I don't think that. And then, as I said, no, they had no military presence in Odisha anyway. They had a nominal. There's a famous. This is written by the British in the Gazetteer. One of the British officers went to that Muslim representative who was inside Bharati Fort, which is in Cuttack town. So the British officers asked him, why are you not going and seeing your state and collecting revenue and all? He said, I belong to a village in Bihar. If somebody gives me 3-4 elephants every year, I will sell them and I'll live off happily. I don't want to go around Odisha to village, and this is documented by the British. So I don't think Muslims would have any interest in either demolishing that temple or so that is.
Thank you very much, sir. And before we conclude the session, I have got just only one small question to Hrushikesh ji. Is there anything special about you that we have to know, about which we couldn't question you? So, something special and distinct about you, we want to know. And before that, I would also want one answer from you. Perhaps your Odisha is the only country, I think, where it is called by 3 names, as I know: Kalinga, Utkala, and Vodra. And why like that?
I'll answer that question first. What is it called? Source wise? No. What is it called?
Utkala, Kalinga, Vodra.
Genesis. The genesis of a word. No? Etymologically, Kalinga comes from Kali, Yang, O. Kali, Yang, Kali, Gam, O. That's how Kalinga comes. Utkal also, those people in Odisha who don't know, they write Utkala means Utkala, which is not correct. Utkala means the same thing. Ut, Kala, Kali, oh. This is, Kali means basically a young man or a young flower or something. Gum means, Kali gum means going away, going far, shipping, those things. Ut means also same thing, flying, going away. So both Utkal and Kaling mean the same thing. Young people, where young people want to fly away, go away, because they were obsessive about shipping, obsessive about trade. Seafarers. They were obsessive seafarers. The Tamils became seafarers, which you see, keep seeing them nowadays. That is all post-Cholas, which was post 11th, 12th century. So that happened because they were based on a king. One king, kingdom became, one dynasty became powerful. In Kalinga, it was not that. In Kalinga Utkal, it was not like that. It was basically a culture, local culture, from where local chiefs were there. The other thing was that Kalinga Utkal, the undivided Kalinga, sometimes called Utkal, they were exchangeable. They had what was called as a democratically elected governors. It's well known that the word which is used is Ganarajya, means Ganarajya means it was elected. The kings were elected. The kings were elected by, so like Kalinga had maybe 14, 15, 20 states from time to time, depending on how the alignment was. So sometimes the northern Odisha part was called Utkal, but sometimes Utkal also included Puri and Ganjam. So Udra was a name which had been briefly used, but then it was not used. The names which remained popular, Utkal, Kaling, then in between they said Koshala, because it came, so Kosala people wanted to become Kosalas. Then there was the Gonda dynasty, Gondwana land. So they came in, they called themselves something else. So that's how, but Kalinga, Utkal have been exchangeable. And for reasons which were not very scientific, during freedom movement, when the separate Odisha was being formed, some people from some parts probably did not want, they thought Utkal means only northern Odisha, which is not true. But they had that misinformation, and then the impoverishment with colonization, which is
Dealing the history then.
Yes.
Because if there is Utkala or Kalinga, so I think Vaita Bandhana continues, that festival continues the seafaring tradition even today. So if that name remained as Kalinga or Utkala, it would have continued the historical, civilizational, the link with the past, which doesn't happen now. Even for people from
No,
other
but
states.
they actually forgot certain very, very, now you see, the best of the clothes, most sophisticated handloom clothes, most expensive, made from the finest cotton, came from where? Exactly, Sambalpur. Sambalpur is so far from Sambalpur, Balangir, Sonpur, those areas. In fact, Sonpur is one of probably Suvarnapur it was called. Western Odisha, northwestern Odisha, or central western. So obviously those clothes are meant for export. They came by Mahanadi, and some came by Brahmani, and Brahmani and Mahanadi, and then they went for exports.
Batik also went to Indonesia.
Like
some.
Bas. Ikat. So that was the reason why these three names came. At that time, somebody said, okay, Udra, everybody said, okay, let's have a separate state anyway. So, Udra is there in Natya Shastra. And Utkal is also mentioned.
That language was spoken by horse trainers.
Yeah.
Atreji, there is one question which has been unanswered by him also. What question? On translation. I'll take 1 minute to say answer that.
And before that, I'll answer one question that he asked and he did not reply. That we have been thinking that he is only a writer kind of a thing, administrator, and now you have seen the depth of his knowledge about history and geography of India. He is jack of all, master too. Thank you.
There is that girl also, soul of language or what. So since I've been translating for the last 35 years, I'll just give you one example, you will get your answer. That was from Marquez. Marquez we all know as the best, he's my most favorite novelist. When his first book was translated, I have learnt it from sir only. When his first book was, he writes in Spanish obviously, and when his first book was translated to English, he rejected that translation. He said, this book is not mine. I have not written this, because that was all stylish English, very staple kind of English that we speak every day. And he said, no, because I write in a very different idiom. My Spanish is totally different Spanish. It's not the standard Spanish that people speak. So that you can just, even with AI, it's even simpler. You just throw it and then AI will do it. So it's not that, as sir said, you have to know the language. So he's that pride, let us be proud, Garbha Karibara Katha, is getting translated into Hindi by one BH, Banaras Hindu University's scholar. So she sent some pages, translation pages in Hindi. She's in Odia, so she's doing it from Odia to English, Hindi. So some words, sir objected to. Words like Sankoro. Sankoro is 1000. 1000. It's Sankoro or Hazar. Sir said no, and there should not be any Urdu words, because that time there was no Urdu obviously, and the tenor and the tone of the book is so different and so very much Odia and very much proud. We will not allow this kind of idiom. So we have to know both the language, both the idioms, and there will be some loss. Definitely there will be some loss in translation, but not much if you know both the language. As a translator, that's my observation and experience. Thank you.
And thanks a lot to Dr. Hrushikesh and also to Dipi Nayak and to Kavita again and to everyone. Okay. So our grateful thanks to Hrushikesh Pandaji. Let us give a standing ovation to him, please. Let us. Really, it is a great, epiphanic and serendipitous meeting today. And now, before we jump to the next session, where the dignitaries need not move away from here, and after that we will be having lunch also here. Let us have our lunch. And now, before we start the book launch session, I request two eminent personalities here, very good academics. Sri Abhiram Krishna, Director General, Badruka College. Sir, you are invited here onto the dais.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful explanation. Thank you very much.
And next, I re-invite Dr. D.S.N. Murthy, Director, BBCIT, onto the dais. And once the book launch session is over, then we will be felicitating the chief guest, guests of honor, and all those people. Now, I want another chair here because Swati Sripada's presence is required here because it is a translator. Please come here. So, dear friends, I needn't be repetitive, but as a kind of formality, 2 books have been translated by Swati, and Aparachat Suryastamayan Loki, that is a novel. And the other one, Gadu Needle, is a collection of short stories, right? And then just a small connection, he mentioned Chaganti Tulasi. Chaganti Tulasi, she came into contact with me about 2 years ago. She asked me to translate one of her Telugu stories into English, which I did and got published. And by the way, Tulasi's sister, Krishna Kumari, she also has science background. She also teaches science and also takes part in YouTube channels and all that. So that is a small connection. And now, I request Swati Sripada to talk about the 2 books in about 5 minutes. Please.
First of all, I pay my respect to Hrushikesh Panda. His humanitarian outlook, universal thinking, and ever fresh topics he has chosen for the stories. When I went through the novel, that Swarnadvipam, the novel he might have written long back, but even today, it is apt to the political situation in every state. And not only that, the satire, what he implied, it is humorous as well as pinching also. Actually, every political leader should read the book. I feel they are minister, the original meaning of minister is servant. In Shakespeare's time, the meaning of minister is servant, but now the minister is superior to God. It hurt me so much. Actually, what they enjoy is our hard work, our each and everyone, not myself, not the bureaucrat officers. Actually, they are exploiting everyone. He has the guts to present it openly. So, I feel that not 1 book or 2 books, every book should come into every language to strip out the false faces of the political society. When I went through his stories, one of the questions I would like to answer, is it difficult to come through the English? But I'll tell you, when I read the book in English, I stayed 8 years in Orissa. Every sentence when I read, immediately it came to my mind how they speak it in Oriya. My husband was bank manager in Orissa. He learned Oriya to read the documents. So he has to give loans. So he should read the documents. So in turn, when I read English, the English translation, to my mind it comes in Oriya. So it is not difficult for me. I'll tell you, in Bengali they say, "Dudh khaibu," no drinking in Bengali. But we should know. I know what they speak in Oriya. So it is not difficult for me. And not only that one, Every language has its own idioms and phrases. As far as possible, we replace with equivalents. If not, the original Oriya meaning should come into Telugu. Let it be considered lower, but the tone of the author should come into Telugu. The feel of the author should come into Telugu. I feel I succeeded. Aparachita Suryastamayamloki is the story of a teacher, unmarried teacher, but that unmarried Kunti teacher represents thousands of Kuntis in every state. The state of politics, the state of transfers, the state of family matters, the state of dance, and not only that, what not everything in the world. That will be possible to pen only to one and only one, that is Hrushikesh Panda. As far as possible, I'll try to bring all his books into Telugu. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Swati, so much. Really, I didn't know of your Kalinga background. Hats off to you. And hats off to you. Hat always on you. And now, let us have the auspicious launch of the book, unveiling of the books. I request our friends to bring the bundle of the books here.
But ask me a question now. What is it about me that people don't know? Less known facts about him.
Exactly.
About which people don't know. Yeah.
Yes. So Hrushikesh Pandaji would be speaking about himself that is unknown to us.
You must be thinking, I mean, not you, but some of us must be thinking that I just go around writing books and making, you also said, no, films. Yes, some films have been made. In fact, that's why I was trying to remember that novel from 600-page novel, historical novel from 1500 to 1900 AD. There's one Swamiji who has a foundation and he has a lot of money. He wants to make a film on that novel. He has found a director, but the director is not able to. The director wants me to write the screenplay. I have written some screenplays, but I don't find time. Plus, as I said, I don't go back to my. If I've written something, I normally don't go back. That is one thing. But the other part is some of us must be thinking that I only write and like attend functions and go around making films. No, I'm very sincere in my work, very sincere. And in fact, often when I go to meetings, not many, very few meetings, even nowadays when I go to meetings, though I retired 10 years ago, some people forget that I am a writer and they talk about what I had done as an officer from North Odisha to West Odisha to South Odisha to. So I have not been a bad officer for the poor people. I've been very bad for the exploiters, for the moneylenders, for the hardcore criminals, and generally also when I go, I worked throughout Naxalite affected districts of Odisha. Can you believe I never took a policeman with me? I never took. I always walked alone, climbed hills alone, not alone. When I start, say, going up the hill, So then some people join me, then other people join me. By the time I reach the top of the mountain or some village, I find that suddenly there are 100 people with me. So there would some of them would be these extremists also, but they never attack me. That is the kind of officer I have been. So don't think that I'm just a loafer going around writing. Thank you.
And yes, exactly. He worked in many urban areas, but he's not urban. He is related to his rural background. That's why he lives in Kalidaspur, not in Delhi or Calcutta or Hyderabad. Hats off to him again. So let us now have the books unveiled, please. We request Abhiram Krishna ji, D.S. Sanmurthy ji, YL ji. You please unveil it, sir. Swati, yes, she has to be there. So friends, again, a sea of thanks to all of you. A sea of thanks. A sea of thanks, the sea of Konark, the sea of Puri. And now I think formally and officially we are concluding the meeting. But before that, we have to sing Jana Gana Mana, our national anthem. Swati, thank you. Please sit down. We forgot to felicitate our dignitaries. Thank you. Yes. Srinivas. Okay, now is our team ready to felicitate our dignitaries? Before feeding Dr. Hrushikesh ji, okay.
First, I want to felicitate the translator and so I become very
Okay. Mementos. Yes, now 1 minute. We have to, yes. Now mementos. The first memento to Dr. Hrushikesh ji. Srinivas will take it. And the next the personage to receive the memento is Dr. Lipi Pushpa Nayak. And the last one to receive, but always first in her passion, is my sister Swati Sripada. Let her receive the memento. Now you see, Pragna Bharati people or Muse India people or Hyderabad people, they won't felicitate themselves. That's why we are not felicitating YL. And I have known YL ever since 1993 when I was into Pragna Bharati and Bharatiya Prajna. He was doing his PhD at that time. Now, Janaganamana? Yes. Nurama ikkada Janaganamana. Da. Come on. Yes.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलजित रंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभाशिष मागे गाहे तव जय गाधा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद।
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.